Bulls try to end a 3-game losing skid tonight when they're at the Nets. The news a service of Shell. Get the feeling of being rewarded with gold status at Shell with the Fuel Rewards program. Start saving on your very first fill and continue to save on every fill every day. Download the Fuel Rewards app. Join and save 5 cents a gallon today. 5:07. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
She ran Al Gore's presidential campaign. She served as the chair of the Democratic National Committee. She's considered one of the most influential Democrats in the country. And on Thursday, March 22nd, Donna Brazile will go head-to-head with AM 560's Dan Proft. It's Beyond the Talking Points with Dan Proft and Donna Brazile. They'll discuss, dissect, and debate the big issues dividing our country. Get your tickets at 560theanswer.com/beyond. Sponsored in part by AM Woodland Outdoor Design.
Jimmy John's, freaky fast, freaky fresh.
I'm calling because I saw one of your delivery persons today, and he was totally naked.
Ma'am, I sincerely want to apologize for any...
Buck naked right there on the street.
Ma'am, we're doing all we can to...
And I say it's about darn time.
I know, and I'm gonna... Wait, what?
The human body is a beautiful thing, don't you agree?
Well,
We've suffered the tyranny of clothing for way too long.
Okay, but...
So thanks, Jimmy John's, for going all natural.
Actually, ma'am, it's our meats that are all natural.
Say what now?
Our meats are all natural. Wood smoked ham, choice roast beef, real fresh turkey breast, all natural and freaky fresh.
So I don't suppose I can expect all natural delivery in the future?
No.
Darn.
People make your business work. But how do you find the right talent? ZipRecruiter. One click posts your job to over 100 top job boards. Then, smart matching technology instantly alerts quality candidates about your job. No wonder 80% of employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site in just one day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
To try ZipRecruiter for free, just go to ZipRecruiter.com/talkradio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/talkradio.
Follow the world's best golfers at the 82nd Masters Tournament, April 2nd through the 8th on the tournament's official website, Masters.com. Log on all week long to experience a tradition unlike any other, and follow the Masters on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Masters.com offers live full-screen HD video coverage, including the Par 3 contest, plus real-time scoring, up-to-the-minute tournament news, and more. Masters.com, your official online source for the 2018 Masters.
Why do we call it small business? Why not agile business, nimble business, dance circles around the big, bulky behemoths business? Ooma Office, the small business phone solution, has a virtual receptionist to direct calls to the right extension and a mobile app to help you answer while away from the office. But all that's small really is the price, starting at only $19.95 a month. Visit Ooma.com, that's OOMA, or call 866-649-9377 to find out more. Ooma, the phone your small business deserves.
It is 10 after 5, and let's get an update on the roads this early morning in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center with us. Here's Jim Talamonte. Good morning, Jim.
Good Monday morning, Mike. Still have some flooding issues, mainly pretty well south of Chicago now, affecting the Kankakee River area. At 41 south of Lowell is down to one lane in each direction from north of State Road 10 to 241st Avenue. That's actually right in the Lowell area. Kankakee, there's a closure of Washington. That bridge over the Kankakee River, 17 is open as an alternate. There's still one flood-related closure to Orland Park at Southwest Highway, 131st and 135th. Starting today on Chicago's northwest side, Higgins will close between Canfield and Oriole till April 1st for long-term work on the Kennedy Expressway. And Monroe downtown will close right near the Burns Circle for some work between Des Plaines Street and Holstead. This is for part of the Burns Circle reconstruction. You have a crash near southwest side, Holstead south of Roosevelt. Another South Loop Clark Roosevelt. Expressways and tollways right now are looking pretty clear. Traffic, service of Napa. Right now, participating Napa Auto Parts. Get a $20 prepaid Visa gift card by mail. You buy a Napa Legend Premium Battery. Quality parts, helpful people. That's Napa know-how. Offer expires 2/28/18. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer starts next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast with our meteorologist, Kevin Schneider.
Breezy with sunshine today, high 53, clear night low 38, then partly sunny and breezy tomorrow. Wind gust to around 30 miles per hour. High tomorrow 59, mainly cloudy night low 44. Wednesday clouds and sun, high 54. I'm Kevin Schneider on AM 560, The Answer.
32 at O'Hare, 36 along the lakefront, 32 Midway, and 28 this morning in Aurora. Your next news update is at 5:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy starts now on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is sponsored by the Townstone Financial Show, Saturday afternoons at 1. Nobody values your mortgage business like Townstone. Listen and call for the best advice.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So did you catch the closing ceremony of the Pyeongchang, or PF Chang, as ABC7 would say, Olympic Games?
Or somebody on BBM called it Pyeongchang. Don't know how she got that out of it. But, no, yeah, I watched a little bit. And it was, closing ceremonies are not as good as the opening ceremonies, but they did focus a lot on Ivanka Trump, excuse me. She was there representing the United States, sitting there near a North Korean spy. But, they just did cutbacks to her all the time.
All-time Olympic low in terms of ratings.
Oh,
it looks like it's tracking to be, just
we didn't have any superstars. I mean, Lindsey Vonn.
Not a lot of breakout stars.
She did okay, but she didn't medal in her last two events. And, I mean, Chloe Kim's going to be great. She's, 15 or 18?
Yeah, nobody knows who you're talking about.
Really? She did the half pipe. She won the gold medal in the women's half pipe.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Uh-huh.
But figure skating was such a dud. They came in 9th, 10th, and 11th. And that's because one was worried about making it to Dancing with the Stars. Another one missed her mommy because she's only 15 years old. And the other one said that there was no warm water to take a shower.
Well, but on the closing ceremony, I mean, did you like that? Did you like the South Korean One Direction impersonators?
Oh, I did see that.
That was that boy band.
Yeah, they don't sing. They just
just dance,
lip syncing.
Oh.
Yeah, one had like blonde hair, and that was cool. But you know what? They weren't that in sync for trying to pretend to be in sync. They were off. I kept saying, like, their lines are messed up. The formation's wrong. It was supposed to be a V formation at one time. It looked like a W.
No drones either at the closing ceremony.
No.
That would have been.
No.
It was fun and scary
Did you
to see the
watch
drones
it?
at the opening ceremony.
You
I
seem to know
saw
a lot.
part of it. You know, the whole thing though reminded me, the whole games reflecting on this past 2 weeks of majesty.
Yeah. Did you watch it?
Is how lucky we were in Chicago to not get the 2016 games.
Why?
Because these things are massive boondoggles.
Oh, they are. I mean,
they are financial money pits. And I'm.
But we had a lot of venues already in place. If you use Northwestern University, University of Chicago,
and
UIC
where
for the Summer Olympics for different events.
Where were we going to do the rapids for the water events?
Oh,
the Des Plaines River.
Let Mike get in here. The Des Plaines River. We could use the Chicago River.
They had a plan. Wisconsin was going to do some of that type. The velodrome in Wisconsin was going to do that. It was going to be a little more regional for those type of things.
Right.
But your concept still stands. If you look at Rio, if you look at what's going to happen to the Korean Stadium next week, that $130 million stadium is being destroyed.
Yeah.
Yeah, next week.
They were going to build a makeshift stadium here.
London,
like London did, yeah.
In London in 2012, they projected it was going to cost $4 billion, it cost $12 billion.
Yeah.
And
they haven't recovered yet.
And with contracting in Chicago?
Hey, I got a guy.
You think we hit the mark?
Can you imagine what the contract would have been for the fence?
I got to tell you a story.
All those guys bought homes, like $24,000 to $30,000 homes that were dilapidated.
Yeah, and they all
took a bath.
Exactly, and they deserved it for trying to do insider speculation.
They did.
But here's the thing. One of the guys at Aon, because Pat Ryan Sr. was the lead dog in trying to get the games in Chicago in 2016. So one of the guys at Aon who had the charge of briefing the Chicago aldermen on the their package that the city was going to present, had to go through like the sponsorships. Here's how we're going to finance it. And one City of Chicago alderwoman, when this individual was going through the sponsorships, how the financing is going to work. She asked him, "Well, can I be a sponsor?" Like, and so he had to explain to her,
my God.
this isn't being a whole sponsor at an aldermanic golf outing. This is like 7- and 8-figure sponsorships for multinational corporations, you dimwit. So it's not going to be like the Alpine Downhill brought to you by Alderman Brendan Riley from the 42nd Ward. But just so you understand the mentality of who you're dealing with, and then you want them to be in charge of, understanding and okaying and helping to shape the financing to bring the Olympic Games to this kleptocracy we call Chicago. That's the biggest bullet we've dodged in my lifetime.
And then when they made the decision, they were in Denmark, and everybody went. Larry Wirt, everybody that was in Pat Ryan's team, they all went. Tim Smith, all those guys,
all the
put down
people
big
who have
money.
no regard for other people's money.
Yeah, well, and they went there, and then they said that they're disappointed, and they left it all on the court. Like, we just left it there, all the emotions, all the money we lost, we can't get back.
Do you think
President Obama speaking helped us?
Yeah, clearly,
hurt us?
Clearly helped us a ton.
Because we got knocked out.
We thought we were
going to
be. It was us in Rio. Actually, you're not going. You're not going ahead to the next round. Do you think 4 years is going to be enough, though, for you to miss Johnny Weir?
Oh, I like him and his little sidekick. Wait.
Yeah.
Longer.
You need more time.
I need a lot more time.
I need more time to miss him, too.
Yeah, I do, too.
I need more time.
I really miss Scott. I miss Scott Hamilton. Who I miss.
Scott Hamilton is good.
Who is a premier broadcaster along with being a gold medalist.
And I never thought I'd say this. I really miss Bob Costas. I did not think that I'd miss him, but the guy that took over for him, nice guy.
Mike Tirico.
He did a solid
Tirico's
job.
Okay.
But
also, they have the other guy. What was that guy's name? Gannon or something from Joliet. There's a guy out of Joliet who was
a commentator.
Yeah, it was a commentator.
For which
he had to endure Tara Lipinski and Johnny Weir, among others.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
That guy.
Yeah, I can't place the name, but yes.
I can't think of his
There's
name.
just two girls having fun, Johnny.
That's a good joke. That's a good joke.
Well
done.
Saying, they both had ample amounts of makeup on. They had their hair done and flashy costumes.
Spangling, yes.
Please note, Johnny Weir, former Olympic figure skater. Adam Rippon, the first openly gay figure skater. Groundbreaking.
Peyton and Eli and I were joking around about that. I go, just so you know, he didn't come out as openly gay at the time.
Groundbreaking, Adam Rippon. Uh-huh.
Well, U.S. finished fourth with 23 medals, and
yeah, we got our ass kicked by Norway.
Maybe we do want some Norwegians, huh?
See, Trump was right.
Yep, 39. They finished with 39 medals, 14 gold, 14 silver, 11 bronze. But our curlers won the gold.
Well,
we beat
that's it.
In on Saturday night. That was fun.
Yeah,
Did you watch that?
The team of rejects.
That guy with the mustache.
John
people are going to dress
Schuster.
up as him.
He's awesome.
This was.
No, they're going to be him for Halloween.
This was like the replacements. This was like Hoosiers. This is this ragtag bunch of liquor store managers from Wisconsin and Minnesota, which is why
kicked off the team because they weren't good enough.
Well, which is what there was a tweet about this. About somebody tweeted, every single person is 10 days away from being an Olympic curler. 10 days away of practice from being an Olympic curler.
I guess there's an episode on The Simpsons where they predicted 8 years ago that U.S. would beat Sweden to win the Olympic curling gold.
Wow! Just like
that
they predicted.
Is so cool.
Just like they predicted Trump would be president.
Prescient. Yes.
Matt Groening is like the Oracle of Delphi. So the curling thing, that was the feel-good story of the entire Olympics. These guys, I mean, the women's hockey team, that was great. But these ice fishermen from the Great White North winning the curling against the Swedes, curling gold, this is a fun story. This could be a movie if anybody was interested in curling.
Connect with Dan and Amy on the AM 560 The Answer mobile app. Just text the word app to 64636 to download the app today.
The episode, by the way, ran February 14th, 2010, and it was called, or the title was, Boy Meets Curl. And Homer Simpson got a team together, and they beat Sweden to win the gold.
That's so nice having a Simpsons historian in the studio.
Today, not as cool, but plenty of sunshine, a high of 53 degrees. That's wonderful. And then tomorrow it's going to be mild, part sun. Oh, tomorrow's going to be hot. Tomorrow's a hot day, Dan. Tomorrow's your golf day, if you can squeeze it in. We're going to have partly cloudy skies and a high near 60. Let's get into the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Good morning, Amy. Good morning, Dan. Inbound Ryan got delays in the express lanes. 35th to Stevenson with a stall in the left express lane. And then it's heavy from Roosevelt to Burn Circle. The locals, 16 minutes, 95th to downtown. Takes longer in the express right now. Inbound Bishop Ford got a 2-minute delay. Cottage Grove to the merge. Other expressways and tollways right now look pretty good, except for southbound 53. South Higgins had a crash just reported. There's a car up against the wall. Possible entrapment there. So allow some space for emergency vehicles responding there. Again, this is on the southbound side of 53. This is just South Higgins Road. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Abilify, Wellbutrin, Seroquel, Rexulti. These drugs are commonly prescribed for depression treatment. 2018 can be the year you win the war on depression.
New year, new you.
Drugs for depression can be dangerous, have side effects, and really just mask the problem. TMS therapy treats the source of your depression. Cure or remission is here. HBR centers are proud to bring TMS therapy to Chicagoland and Milwaukee. Millions have been treated, and the results are outstanding.
TMS therapy is drug-free and non-invasive.
How does it work? TMS therapy uses safe, small magnetic fields, similar to those used in an MRI. They stimulate and activate mood centers, causing long-term medication-free relief. It's FDA cleared and covered by most insurance, including Blue Cross Blue Shield and Medicare. Make the call, ask questions, bring an end to your depression. HPR centers in Chicagoland and Milwaukee.
800-604-0208. 800-604-0208.
HPR centers. Go to endmydepression.com.
Sean Hannity is right. IRS problems can be devastating. I'm attorney Stephen Leahy, host of the IRS Radio Hour, heard right here on this station every Sunday evening at 5 o'clock. And I help business owners, 1099 employees, and those with unfiled tax returns solve their IRS problems. I know you want a local attorney you could look in the eye and hold accountable for solving your IRS problem, not some big box outfit without a Chicago connection. So if you fear the IRS will take your money, bank account, wages, or visit your home or job, and now they can take your passport, you need to hire me to solve your IRS problem for good. Today, I have a special bonus. If you are one of the first 25 to call and hire me to solve your IRS problem, we will prepare your 2017 tax returns for free. Call me, attorney Stephen Leahy, your Chicago IRS answer man at 312-664-6649. Again, that's 312-664-6649. One more time, 312-664-6649. Or visit us on the web at chicagotaxteam.com. Don't wait. Call me now and get the IRS out of your business and your life for good.
With so many homeowners fearful of poor service and not knowing who to trust, home remodeling is often delayed. But do you ever wonder why so many remodeling experiences go so wrong? Advanced Design Studio thinks remodeling shouldn't be so painful. Will the project stay on budget and be done on time? If you're nervous about home remodeling, you're not alone. Whether you're contemplating a new kitchen or bath, want an addition to your home, or in need of a whole house transformation, Advanced Design Studio is the company to call. They understand your fears and know how to overcome them. Backed by 25 years of producing positive remodeling experiences, Advanced Design's client service process, called Common Sense Remodeling, averts remodeling project delays, budget overruns, and produces a rewarding remodeling experience. Make this the year you overcome your fears and remodel your home, bath, or kitchen. Don't be a bad remodeling story. Use common sense and visit AdvancedDesignStudio.com for more information or call 847-836-2600.
The secret to how the rich keep getting richer is by passing down their wealth, generation to generation. If you do the same thing, you'll be leaving a legacy and be doing one of the most important things possible for the people you love. The ugly truth is, you don't have an estate plan. Everything you own, including your house, cars, investments, everything could be tied up in courts for a year or longer. It could cost your estate tens of thousands of dollars in probate and legal fees, even double government taxation. You can avoid this painful, costly mistake by contacting Tom Fortino of the Alpha Wealth Group. Tom hosts the Alpha Wealth Hour, heard Saturday mornings at 9 on AM 560, and has been a featured expert on Fox Business, Fortune, and Money Magazine. Right now, Alpha Wealth Group is offering you a free estate planning kit if you call 630-873-6326. That's 630-873-6326. 630-873-6326. Investment advisory services offered through Retirement Wealth Advisors, Inc. Get ready. It's Auto Show Month. And to celebrate, you're going to see some of the best deals of the new year at Joe Cotton Ford. Joe Cotton Ford will get your engines revving with the largest selection of quality American-made Ford vehicles, including SUVs and trucks with all the features you want and need to navigate the snow and ice this Chicago winter. Ready for a different auto buying experience? At Joe Cotton Ford, you won't get the cold shoulder from a sales guy trying to hit a sales quota. What you will get is the white glove treatment without all the hype and pressure. And don't forget, every vehicle purchased comes with the Joe Cotton Advantage that goes above and beyond what the manufacturer offers. It'll help you save on maintenance, vehicle protection, and more. Be sure to ask about the Joe Cotton Advantage program when you come in. Get to Joe Cotton Ford and celebrate Auto Show Month with a new Ford car, truck, or SUV today. Gary and North Avenue in Carroll Stream or at joecottonford.com. joecottonford.com.
Jeannie Ives might be Mike Madigan's favorite Republican. The Madigan machine has bankrolled Ives with thousands of dollars in shady labor union cash, turning Jeannie Ives into another Mike Madigan lackey. Listen to Ives defend Madigan.
Now we're going to call Mike Madigan a crook. Now we're going to call Mike Madigan a crook.
Instead of attacking Madigan's corrupt ways like Bruce Rauner, Jeannie Ives defends Madigan.
He's picking on Mike Madigan again. He's picking on Mike Madigan again.
Ives won't even commit to immediate repeal of the Madigan income tax hike.
You need legislator approval to repeal that, obviously, so you'd have to have them decide to do that, to repeal it, right? I can't guarantee what the legislator is going to send me in the bill.
Jeannie Ives, guaranteed to defend and defer to Mike Madigan.
I don't think that's any way to deal with the powerful Speaker of the House, Mike Madigan.
Paid for by Citizens for Rauner, Inc.
AM 560, The Answer.
Alert texter from 60 Terry Gannon. So I had this name right. He was on Valvano's '83 championship NC State Wolfpack team, basketball guy.
Yep.
Yeah. So
apparently,
he
he covered the closing ceremonies too. Good for him.
Yeah. Don't need any Bob Costas spewing his liberal nonsense. Ed in Oak Brook, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, Danny, I remember when they were going to make that announcement, because I walked by there like at 6:10 in the morning. The excitement was incredible. They had satellite dishes on these trucks. You'd think they were going to guide in a missile from somewhere. It was just so much. But the biggest thing that came out of it is when a lot of people realized that Obama was not a god, because they thought it was a lock when he gave his little speech out there that the Olympic Committee could never defy a god. And it happened. And I'll tell you what, a lot of people, other than the crooks and even me, lost money on that deal, because I had about 10 condos at that time, and I was going to rent them out.
Yeah, sure.
Hugely.
Yeah.
And it just never happened, so.
Yeah, thanks for the call. I mean, yeah, it would have been good in the short term. Like me, I would have rented out my place, too, for $10,000 for 2 weeks or something. But then when we would have had to continue, we would have had to add that to the bailouts of Chicago.
Our property taxes might have gone up even more.
In the medium term, yeah, not much of a windfall. That's the case. You know, the Olympics are going to come down to this. It's interesting. It's in Beijing in 2022.
Right, because
you know what's going to come? It's just like with Sochi. It's going to come down to the only countries that can host them are authoritarian, dictatorial countries, because they're the only ones who can impose their will on the public that won't want to host them when they look, if and when they look at the financing and the experience of previous cities and countries that have hosted them. So, all right, that's your Olympic roundup.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Rowdy CPAC, thanks to Mona Charen. And Trump also holds court on Friday on a range of topics, including arming teachers. We'll have that at 5:38.
But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
32 and partly cloudy. We're watching developments in the Pacific this morning as the U.S. Geological Survey reports a large earthquake has struck Papua New Guinea. Students are getting ready for classes to start again at the South Florida high school that was the grim scene of a mass shooting on Valentine's Day. The father of a victim of the Parkland, Florida shooting is now urging focus on school safety rather than gun control.
My daughter's dead. I want to know, our kids are going to school in Kentucky on Monday. How are those kids safe?
Fox News Sunday had Andrew Pollack commentating on Broward County Sheriff Deputy Scott Peterson. He called him a coward after failing to go into that school and confront the shooter. A U.S. representative from Kentucky believes expanding background checks to stop school shooters is ineffective.
You're trying to put lipstick on a pig. Look, you can put all the information you want in it, but the shooter in Connecticut who stole his mother's firearms and shot her before he committed the crime isn't going to be stopped by a background check.
Thomas Massie made the comments on NBC's Meet the Press. Meantime, Massie has introduced legislation that would repeal the Gun-Free Zones Act. 5 are dead after tornadoes and flooding spread across the South and the Ohio River Valley. The public has an opportunity to pay respects to the Reverend Billy Graham. Visitation will be held at the Billy Graham Library Complex in Charlotte. He will then lie in honor at the U.S. Capitol Rotunda following public visitation there. Health officials say many in a rebel-held area of Syria are now showing symptoms of chlorine gas exposure. Several people reported smelling chlorine after an explosion Sunday in one of the last rebel-held strongholds near Damascus. The NRA says they are opposed to raising the age for all firearm purchases to 21. NRA spokesperson Dana Lash on ABC's This Week. It's actually contradicting what President Trump wants as a solution to some gun violence. We're watching politics in California this morning, where the Democratic Party there will not endorse the state's senior U.S. Senator Dianne Feinstein. Feinstein failed to win enough votes at the party convention to win its endorsement. One man is in serious but stable condition after being shot by Chicago police in the Back of the Yards neighborhood. Rules could soon be in place for changing public sector unions across the country thanks to an Illinois case before the U.S. Supreme Court. It's Janus versus AFSCME. It remains to be seen who will be in classrooms at the University of Illinois' main campus. Unionized grad students last night said they will walk out of classes today as part of a strike. And if you're in Rome and you wake up to snow, well, that's a rarity. This morning, an Arctic storm passed over much of Europe, dumping enough snow to force schools to close in Rome. Public transportation canceled. Italy's Civil Protection Agency deciding to deploy the army to clear the streets after a couple of centimeters of snow. Chicago sports found the Fighting Illini ending the Big Ten regular season with a win over Rutgers, while Northwestern lost at Iowa. The news, a service of Shell. Get the feeling of being rewarded with gold status at Shell. With the Fuel Rewards program, start saving on your very first fill and continue to save on every fill every day. Download the Fuel Rewards app and join and save 5 cents a gallon today. 5:34, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher needs the rhetoric dialed down.
The ongoing assault on the NRA, they don't have blood on their hands. They're not a terrorist organization. And until that kind of rhetoric and that kind of nonsense is eliminated, if you think you're going to make any progress on gun control, you're out of your mind.
The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
Ricardo Muti and the Chicago Symphony Orchestra return to Wheaton College Friday, March 16th at 7:30 for a program including Haydn Symphony No. 89 and Mozart Celebrated String Sinfonia Concertante featuring violist Paul Neubauer and CSO Concertmaster Robert Chen. Seen and Heard International says Chen gives an intense and impassioned performance in a work that is virtuosically demanding, and the result is a powerful experience. Tickets start at $45. For tickets, visit cso.org.
You wanted to be a teacher when you were little, but as you grew up, things changed. Teaching just didn't seem like the best option anymore, so you decided to become something else. But what would your 12-year-old self say? Interesting and innovative things are happening in teaching today, so it's time to put it back on your list. Don't try to convince yourself otherwise. You had it right the first time.
Find out how you can make more at teach.org. Make more. Teach. Brought to you by Teach and the Ad Council.
5:36 and a check of the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here is Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. On the inbound Eisenhower, traffic is heavy early. First Avenue to Des Plaines Avenue. It's just a 1 or 2 minute delay right now. The outbound side is clear. Edens, Kennedy, all good. On Stevenson, tight central to Pulaski. That's a 2-minute delay. On Ryan, heavy in the express lanes, Pershing to the Stevenson after a stall, and it's heavy 18th to the Burns Circle. 19 minutes, 95th to downtown. How about okay? Bishop Ford, 19 minutes, 80-94 to the merge. Eastbound Adams Tollway, pretty well northwest of Chicago. There are some delays approaching Irene Road with a crash in the right lane. Southbound 53 is heavy Woodfield Road to past Higgins. There's a crash in the left lane. Possible injuries involved there. Traffic, service of Napa. Right now, at participating Napa Auto Parts, you'll get a $20 prepaid Visa gift card by mail when you buy a Napa Legend premium battery. Quality parts, helpful people. That's Napa know-how. Offer expires 2/28/18. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. Not as cool today. We'll have plenty of sunshine and a high near 53. Currently 32. Next news coming up at 6. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas Coffee, roasted fresh daily in Batavia, Illinois.
Hey, Joe Walsh here. If you're old enough to vote and you're old enough to defend this country, you are old enough to buy a rifle. We'll talk about it when freedom returns at 5.
Good morning, Dan and Amy, and Broward County Sheriff Scott Israel. As much as he wanted to offload all of the responsibility for the sheriff's department's performance on Scott Peterson, he's having a difficult time doing it as more information becomes available. 74 Florida state lawmakers have called on Florida Governor Rick Scott to immediately suspend Broward County Sheriff Scott Israel. And I don't think he helped himself very much over the weekend.
No, he
with
did not.
Jake Tapper. He was asked by Tapper about handling of the tip. Well,
which tip?
18 calls.
18 calls, but there were 2 phone calls that in particular they were worried about. One from a woman that came from Massachusetts, believe it or not, and then the other he wasn't sure.
The January call, of course, is what he's talking about. I know he's going to explode, and saying that the shooter switched it. And she also, the tipster also said that he wants to kill people. I know he's going to explode. He wants to kill people. Israel responding to how that was handled.
There needed to be a report, and that's what we're looking into, that a report needed to be completed. It needed to be forwarded to our either Homeland Security or Violent Crimes Unit, and they would have followed up on it.
That's from your notes. That's from notes released by your office. I'm not making this up. This is from Broward.
No, and that's what the officer who handled that is on restrictive duty, and that's an active internal investigation, and we are looking into it. I can't tell you, I can't predict how an investigation's going, but I've exercised my due diligence. I've led this county proudly, as I always have. We have restricted that deputy as we look into it. Their deputies make mistakes, police officers make mistakes, we all make mistakes, but it's not the responsibility of the general or the president if you have a deserter. You look into this, we're looking into this aggressively, and we'll take care of it, and justice will be served.
It's not the responsibility of the general or the president if you have a deserter. That was a very lofty comparison Scott Israel is making to himself. He's the general, he's the president, he had a deserter, although there's a problem.
Yeah, it wasn't just one deserter. It was 4.
Reportedly.
Yes. That went to the school and sat outside the school and did nothing. So then when you had Coral Springs police arrive, they said they came out because one just couldn't take this anymore and told CNN, off camera what they did. He goes, we came out with our guns drawn and ran into the building, and we're sitting there, and these 4 guys are just doing nothing.
And so the question, well, there's a couple, and by the way, so bullets flew reportedly for 4 minutes as the Scott Peterson, the armed deputy, waited outside. And then there's this additional report that Israel won't confirm that there were 3 more Broward County Sheriff's deputies that were sitting outside as well. It's remarkable. Here's the other thing that Israel just did in that answer before we get to more of Israel's amazing statements. It's under investigation. Hey, I don't know how this independent investigation, this internal look at policies and procedures is going to turn out. Hey, Scott, don't give me that bull jive. You've got a single tip that is central to this whole tragedy. Your office had it. You know they had it. You got some guy on desk duty. Get to the bottom of it. You should be able to get to the bottom of that in all of about 5 minutes. This whole kind of, we've got this, overarching independent investigation and we're turning over all the rocks. Bull jive is just a smokescreen to buy him time.
Well, and it made me sick because he knew, and he had seen the video of his officer. That was, Scott Peterson, the armed deputy that was on campus. He saw that before he went to that CNN town hall, where he sat there at that CNN town hall and ridiculed the NRA. When he should not have done that. And he should not have been, as Jake Tapper said, belligerent to the NRA because he knew what was going on. He knew that his officer didn't respond properly.
He could take whatever position he wants on the NRA, but in terms of disclosing what he knew at the time, that's a legitimate issue.
Your tone at the public forum was rather belligerent towards the NRA, and you were talking about needing more police protection, more police funding and more police powers, and yet you knew,
that's not...
No, it's not. That wasn't your tone?
That's not true. Jake, that's not true at all. I wasn't belligerent towards the NRA. I took a passionate stance, as I always have, about common sense gun reform and expanding police ability throughout our country when we come in contact.
Yeah,
he kept just talking about what a great job he's doing and self-aggrandizing, and it was just too much.
Just get something straight here. At that forum, because he just papered over it, as Scott Israel is wont to do, he said, and I'm quoting him, "What I'm asking the lawmakers to give police all over the country is more power." So, I'm sorry, that should have been discussed too. The police didn't exercise judiciously, the Broward County Sheriff's Office at least, the power they have in this case. And that is evidence of the need for more power? That doesn't follow. Government agencies at the local level, the federal level failed every step of the way, and that's an argument that they should be entrusted with more power at the expense of our rights. I'm not sure I follow that logic, Sheriff, but who am I to question the sheriff? Because
he's not going to step down, he said.
Well,
I'm not resigning.
Why should he step down? His leadership, in his own words.
Are you really not taking any responsibility for the multiple red flags that were brought to the attention of the Broward Sheriff's Office about this shooter before the incident, whether it was people near him, close to him, calling the police on him?
Jake, I could only take responsibility for what I about. I exercise my due diligence. I've given amazing leadership to this agency.
Amazing leadership?
I've worked... Yes, Jake. There's a lot of things we've done throughout this. This is you don't measure a person's leadership by a deputy not going into These deputies receive the training they need.
Yeah, you do.
Well, yeah. So what he did, in addition to giving himself, he's very generous with himself.
He gives up that a boy.
In addition to that, he does the whole, I can't really account for this specific instance, so let me tell you about my general performance. It's a nice little piece of rhetorical artifice, and Scott Israel has used all of the nice little pieces of rhetorical artifice over the last 72 hours. It's really rather remarkable, and so let's revisit the question we discussed on Friday in light of new statements and more evidence with respect to the Broward County Sheriff's Office. Should Scott Israel be fired if he doesn't want to take the stairs? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line.
And I also want to play for you a few 911 calls were released over the weekend. One was from the woman who immediately took in Cruz and his younger brother. She called 911. This is 5 weeks before the shooting.
There was a fight in my house. There's a kid and my son. Okay, I'm punching him, and I'm afraid he comes back and he has a lot of weapons. He put the gun in the head of his brother before, so it's not the first time. And he did that to his mom.
He put the gun to the head of his friend before and to his mother before. 23 times, just the Broward County Sheriff's Department. And so Jake Tapper asked him.
Bit of a red flag.
Yeah, asked him about this. Why nothing even after that?
In November, the Palm Beach Sheriff's Office, not your office, but a neighboring office, responded to a call from a woman who had taken the shooter in and his brother after the death of their mother. She told police that the shooter had gotten into a physical fight with her son and threatened to go get his gun and come back. She also said he had used guns to threaten people before and had put a gun to others' heads in the past. That's a crime. Yeah. Were you aware of that incident?
No, I wasn't aware of that incident, but if a person had a gun put to their head and they were the victim of that type of incident, that's an aggravated assault. That's an absolute felony. That is a crime, and a person should be arrested for that. I don't know if the victim wanted to cooperate. It was in Palm Beach County. I don't know the nuances and the specifics of the case.
Yeah.
Well,
the victim's problem. The victim didn't want to press charges.
Well, the other thing is that remarkably, you had the shooter call 911 on himself.
Yeah, this is hours before the mother who took him in had called.
The thing is, I lost my mother a couple of weeks ago, so I'm dealing with a bunch of things right now.
Even I've lost my mother a couple of weeks ago. I'm dealing with a lot of things right now.
He also told the dispatcher in that call.
Yeah.
I kind of got mad and I started punching walls and stuff as the predicate to, how he lost his mother, and I'm dealing with a bunch of, blank right now.
Still not enough.
It's just remarkable. And one of the other things Tapper asked Israel, which is important as it pertains to the Scott Peterson, the armed deputy on site, and then the allegedly 3 others that were outside while the shooting was going on. Was there a stand-down order given? Were deputies following the order of command?
Whether this was policy to set up a perimeter instead of going in. Earlier this week, you seem to suggest that your deputies are trained to arrive and not immediately go into the site of the shooting, but rather to create a staging area. Listen to yourself a few days ago talking about what you learned from the Fort Lauderdale airport shooting 13 months ago. Take a listen.
One of the key lessons we learned from the airport was the phenomenon of self-dispatching and not allowing deputies and police officers from all over the Tri-County area to just arrive haphazardly. And we had staging areas, and people who went to a staging area, and they were inserted into the mission in a common sense way, and everybody had a job to do.
See, that sounds to a lot of people like the opposite of what police forces learned after Columbine, which is when you arrive, you don't wait, you run in.
I'm glad you asked that question. Jake, you're completely talking apples and oranges, and I'm glad you brought that up. When we have a horrific incident of any magnitude, and the incident is over, and people are arriving to help, and we know we have 5, 10, 12 hours of work to do, we have our deputies, police officers, firefighters go to staging areas so we can insert them in a clear and concise manner into the scenario, into the event. An active shooter is completely different.
And that's fine. That's a fine explanation of the difference between the Fort Lauderdale airport and what you had there. And that's basically a long way of saying there was no stand-down order. So if that's true, then you've got 1 to 4 deputies that have lots of splaining to do. And if it's not true, then you have even more splaining to do by the Broward County Sheriff, in addition to everything else he hasn't accounted for and didn't do a particularly good job of accounting for in his conversation with Tapper. Bruno in Naperville, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hi. A couple, 3 decades ago, a victim of crime sued the police department, and the case went all the way up to the Supreme Court. And the eventual ruling was that citizens do not have a legal right to expect protection from the police department.
Yeah, right.
So what that means is that, So that's why we need to be able to defend ourselves. Also, even if you're not dealing with an inept police department like the Broward County Police Department, it's an old saying that when seconds count, the police are minutes away.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Bruno. One of the cases was a Castle Rock case out of Colorado with respect to that Supreme Court holding. I also want to find out, I hate to break it to people.
Yeah.
Sheriff's offices, police departments, not immune from political patronage. I don't know if you've ever heard about that in Cook County. I wonder
He's
if
an elected official. So if the people are upset with him, next time he's up for re-election, they could boot him out.
Yeah, just like they can Tom Dart. We'll see. But the point is, what about the people that were hired? Is there politics, patronage politics at play in Broward County? It's not unique to Cook. That's an interesting question. I'd like an answer to find out which, who Scott Peterson is the idiot
Related
cousin
to.
Yeah, right. Tom in Deer Park.
Yeah, put aside 1 second for Sheriff Israel's mendacity and incompetence. And I want to talk about, how he did that CNN town hall that was basically, it's been described as a prearranged circus with one agenda intent. But, I'm seeing a pattern here. And it's a 15 minutes of fame thing. This guy has seen Sheriff Joe. He's seen Sheriff Clark turn themselves into celebrities. And now I think that he in the back of his mind, or maybe on the forefront, he sees himself as the next big media darling. As for me, the only sheriff I want to see on TV is Sheriff Andy Taylor. The rest of these guys hang up and go home.
Thanks, Tom.
You're listening to Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
True story. So I urged one of my family members to call CertaPro Painters. He didn't do it, and that painting crew had to come back 3 times to fix their awful, sloppy mistakes, even paint on the floor, if you can believe it. Well, with CertaPro Painters, you get the best in the business. The attention to detail, color selection is truly unmatched. And now is the perfect time to get the interior of your home or business painted. The lower humidity provides an ideal environment for great coverage and quick drying times. They use fine quality paints with 0 or low VOCs, very little to no odor during application. Be an early bird and cross the first item off your 2018 to-do list. It's also the perfect time to spruce up your commercial property. Remember, each CertaPro Painter's business is independently owned and operated, so schedule your free estimate online at CertaPro.com or call 1-800-GO-CERTA. That's CERTA with the C. CertaPro Painters, we do painting, you do life.
Attention shoppers, clean up on aisle 14. Clean up on aisle 14. Someone dropped a jar of pickles. Pickles. Kosher pickles.
Beatboxing at a big box store. Surprising. What's not surprising? How much you could save by switching to Geico.
A red minivan has the lights on in the parking lot.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
Geico.
As a small business owner, you make every dollar count. So what could you do with $10? Go to Vistaprint.com today and you'll get 500 high-quality custom business cards for only $9.99. That's less than 2 cents per card. And at Vistaprint, your satisfaction is absolutely guaranteed. So it's never been easier to turn 500 strangers into connections. Just visit Vistaprint.com and use promo code 1919 at checkout. That's Vistaprint.com, promo code 1919.
This is Dan Proft with 60 Seconds of Sanity for Upstream-Ideas.com. Guns have no moral agency. Predators hurt and kill people. Often they use a gun. Good guys protect people. Often they use a gun. When a predator kills with a gun, he is rightly called a monster. When a good guy with a gun fails to protect people, he's rightly called a coward. The very nature of the way we discuss an atrocity like the Parkland school shooting conveys our understanding that it's bad guys and good guys who are responsible for what they do and not the instrumentality they use in their conduct. So arguing that the response to the deadly success of the shooter and the failure of the deputy sheriff is to reduce the number of good guys and their instrumentality choices does not logically follow from the accepted premise. And neither does the failure of state agencies locally and federally to exercise the power they currently possess make the case for expanding their power at the expense of our rights. No amount of emergency planning or algorithmic modeling or government power can replace the variety of human judgment calls that will be thrust upon a free people. The question then isn't what's in my holster, it's what's in my head and my heart.
A storm is on the horizon, and you need to keep the lights on no matter what. Your business relies on the power being on 24/7. It's the lifeblood of your data and computer systems. Weather-related outages from the power company are not acceptable. Your need for a source of power that's reliable 24/7, along with round-the-clock service that can dispatch technicians to your site immediately, is mission critical. Your business needs Charles Equipment Energy Systems on speed dial. These are the big boys, not residential or solar, but reliable industrial generators for emergency backup or events. When you need more than a 100-foot extension cord plugged into a small engine generator, call Charles Equipment Energy Systems. They keep the lights on with rental generators for job sites or power outages. Stay warm this winter. Plan ahead. Call now to prepare generators for winter storms and potential power outages. Call 630-834-6000. That's 630-834-6000 or charlesequipment.com. charlesequipment.com.
Watch today's show live right now on the Income Store live video stream at 560theanswer.com.
5:57 and a check of your morning roads. We do that in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center and get the very latest with Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. At O'Hare, traffic's getting heavy now. Westbound 190 has delays from Kennedy to the Tri-State. It's heavy on the outbound Kennedy, starting around Central. 26 minutes downtown to the airport. Inbound, it's 23 minutes. Edens is still fine. About Eisenhower, so Manheim to Des Plaines Avenue. 33 minutes, 390 to downtown. Outbound 30. Stevenson, 40 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Ryan, 24 minutes, 95 to downtown. Bishop Ford, 18 minutes, 8094 to the merge. Northbound Tri-State, heavy 87th, the 83rd Street toll. Eastbound Adams, still way slow. The Tri-State, Kennedy, southbound 53 South Higgins, a crash blocking the left lane. Traffic, service of Napa. Right now at participating Napa Auto Parts, you'll get a $20 prepaid Visa gift card by mail if you buy a Napa Legend premium battery. Quality parts, helpful people. That's Napa know-how. Offer expires 2/28/18. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues after a full update from Fox News and your official Chicagoland weather forecast with meteorologist Kevin Schneider.
A full day of sunshine today, breezy with a high 53, clear night low 38. Tomorrow, partial sunshine, breezy and mild, high 59. Then a mainly cloudy and mild night, low tomorrow night 44. I'm Kevin Schneider on AM 560, The Answer.
32 at O'Hare, the news, a service of Accountemps. When you could use help closing your books and need additional staff, it's time to call Accountemps. They can provide you with bookkeepers and other accounting and finance pros on a temporary or project basis and fast. Call today. Accountemps, a Robert Half company. 5:59, let's get an update on the stories we're following on AM 560, The Answer this morning. One man in serious but stable condition after being shot by a Chicago police officer in the Back of the Yards neighborhood last night. No one in custody after two kids were wounded in a shooting on Chicago's northwest side near Cicero and North Avenues. It remains to be seen who will be in the classrooms this morning at the University of Illinois' main campus as unionized grad students last night said they will walk out of their classes today as part of a strike. City of Chicago and major airlines are close to reaching an $8.5 billion deal to expand O'Hare, build a state-of-the-art global terminal. The mayor could introduce that agreement at Wednesday's city council meeting. Fighting Illini end the regular Big Ten season with a win over Rutgers, while the Wildcats lost to Iowa. Bulls try to end a three-game losing streak tonight when they're at the Nets. Again, 32 degrees, and WIND Chicago News Time is 6 o'clock.
An emotional return to school in Parkland, Florida. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
First I was sad, and now I'm angry.
She and other students returned to Stoneman Douglas High School yesterday to get backpacks and other things they left behind when they fled the shooting that left 17 students and adults dead. Now, students actually won't return to classes in Parkland until Wednesday. The shooting has prompted survivors to join renewed calls for stricter gun control.
That firearm did not walk itself into the school. An individual who was allowed to go unchecked by the Broward County Sheriff's Office allowed that firearm to go in the school.
That's NRA spokeswoman Dana Lash on ABC. The Broward County Sheriff is defending himself amid calls to resign over the way his department responded to the massacre and how they handled warnings they got about the shooter, Nicholas Cruz, being dangerous. Scott Israel tells CNN.
Deputies make mistakes. Police officers make mistakes. We all make mistakes.
Now, this will be an issue at the White House again today. Fox's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
Dave, President Trump will meet with the nation's governors to talk school safety. Topping the agenda, the Parkland shooting.
We're going to have some very important meetings. We'll be talking about Parkland and the horrible event that took place
last week.
The president speaking at the governor's ball at the White House last night. President Trump has proposed raising the minimum age to buy assault-style weapons and arming some teachers. The governors are in Washington for their annual winter meeting. Dave.
Rachel, nasty storms hit from Texas to Canada over the weekend, including a tornado that flattened homes in Kentucky, crushing a woman inside one. 2 others in Kentucky died in flooding found in submerged vehicles. Another body was found floating around Kalamazoo, Michigan, and a man in Arkansas was killed when winds toppled his trailer. In Washington State, an avalanche buried 2 people in the Crystal Springs area. One they dug out and resuscitated. The other died. Fox News. Fair and balanced.
She ran Al Gore's presidential campaign. She served as the chair of the Democratic National Committee. She's considered one of the most influential Democrats in the country. And on Thursday, March 22nd, Donna Brazile will go head-to-head with AM 560's Dan Proft. It's Beyond the Talking Points with Dan Proft and Donna Brazile. They'll discuss, dissect, and debate the big issues dividing our country. Get your tickets at 560theanswer.com/beyond. Sponsored in part by 1-800-4-BLINDS, Chicago. Blinds, shades, and shutters.
When you're hiring, you don't want to sort through dozens of irrelevant resumes. You want a short list of qualified candidates. That's why you need Indeed.com. Post a job in minutes. Set up screener questions. Then zero in on qualified candidates using an intuitive online dashboard. Daryl has hired with Indeed.
Nothing has been this simple, this easy, and this effective.
Discover why 3 million businesses use Indeed for hiring. Post a job today at Indeed.com/hire. Search for greatness. Search Indeed.
If your to-do list is long, but you're short on time, get the amazing Tackle app. For house cleaning, yard work, hanging TVs, washing windows, or hauling off junk, Tackle can save the day. The concept is simple. Tackle connects you with background check providers who can help with simple chores. The Tackle app has hundreds of pre-priced chores. If you have a unique chore, there's a cool custom job feature. Download the Tackle app today and get $50 off your first job. That's TAKL. Get your to-do list done with Tackle.
If you have pain, listen up, Dennis Prager here. You don't need to live in pain. Let me repeat that. You don't have to live in pain. Chronic pain is the worst, whether it's from an accident or pain that just develops. So Chicagoland, you're in luck. Dr. Ken Candido is one of the nation's most respected and successful pain doctors. He's been voted one of Chicago's best pain doctors several times. Bottom line, he's the pain doctor you need. Dr. Candido of Chicago Anesthesia and Pain Specialists will help you get off pain medication and all of its side effects. How? By finding the source of your chronic pain and fixing it.
This is Ken Candido of Chicago Anesthesia Pain Specialists. Let's make you pain-free.
Call Dr. Ken Candido and make an appointment with a cutting-edge, respected, and successful pain physician. Go to mypainchicago.com. That's mypainchicago.com. Thousands have been helped with their chronic pain, and you can be the next one. Get the phone number and all the info you need at mypainchicago.com.
As a business owner, you have hundreds of decisions to make on a daily basis. It's beyond needing to pay bills, keeping employees happy, or what the next step is to grow your business. Part of your stress can be making sure you're protected in a time of crisis. Can you trust that your insurance provider is going to be there when you need them most? When you're looking for a partner who's there for you in your most desperate times, call Insure with Us. You won't have to wait on hold to talk to an agent who's unfamiliar with your policy. Speak directly to who wrote your policy when you have any urgent question or need. Don't hesitate. Get it done today. Get a free quote in less than 24 hours at lowcostinsurance.biz. Choose from dozens of top insurers across the U.S. Insure with Us focuses on finding you the best coverage for your business and for your family. Visit them today at lowcostinsurance.biz. Insure with Us. Coverage for the things that matter most.
It either is or it isn't. When it comes down to it, that's all that really matters when choosing a certified pre-owned Mercedes-Benz. It's either certified by Mercedes-Benz factory-trained technicians or it isn't. It's either backed by an unlimited mileage warranty for up to 5 years or it isn't. It's absolute confidence in 30,000 precision parts or it isn't. The Mercedes-Benz Certified Pre-Owned Sales event now through February 28th, only at your authorized Mercedes-Benz dealer. Come in today and take advantage of 2 years of complimentary prepaid maintenance and special financing offers available through Mercedes-Benz Financial Services. There are those who settle for nothing less, For them, the choice is simple. It's either up to Mercedes-Benz standards or it isn't. It's flawlessly maintained or it isn't. It's either Mercedes-Benz certified pre-owned or it isn't.
See your authorized Mercedes-Benz dealer for complete details and limitations on certified pre-owned warranties.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Grow My Retirement with Bill Geiger of Geiger Wealth. Tune in Saturday afternoons at 2 for Grow My Retirement with Bill Geiger of Geiger Wealth.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. And there is a seminal labor case for which oral arguments will be heard before the Supreme Court today. That is Janus v. AFSCME. This case has the chance to change the political landscape in this country, to give public sector workers freedom with respect to their union dues, and to really cripple public sector unions and the money they extract out of their employees. Mark Janus, who's become a bit of a celebrity because this is a case of such national import, is actually a staffer. He works for the Illinois Department of Human Services. Oh. And this is the case that was to be decided in 2016 before Justice Scalia's death, Fredericks versus California Teachers Association. The court split 4-4, thus the lower court's decision stood, and that was to keep fair share in place. With Gorsuch now replacing Scalia, the prospects are pretty rosy for advocates for worker freedom like the Liberty Justice Center, like National Right to Work. These are the organizations that are representing Mark Janus and who will be presenting oral arguments before the High Court today. And one of the individuals who's been spearheading this is the co-founder of the Liberty Justice Center. He is Pat Hughes, who joins us now. Pat, thanks for being with us. Appreciate it.
Good morning, Dan. Good morning, Amy. How are you?
Good morning. So just lay out the arguments of both sides and the implications were if Mark Janus is successful and the court rules in his favor.
So no one is required to join a public sector union, but if you're a state employee in Illinois and you don't belong to the union, you still have to pay agency fees, or what people call fair share dues. And our client, Mark Janus, doesn't want to pay those dues because he doesn't want to affiliate with the union or support the union's speech or activity. And everything, Dan and Amy, that a public sector union does is political in nature, whether it's direct political activity or collective bargaining, because ostensibly through collective bargaining, what they're doing is they're lobbying the government to spend taxpayer dollars on their benefits, on their salaries, on other things. And so the nature of that union is political, and being forced to support it financially is a violation of your First Amendment rights of free speech, because you're making political speech that you don't want to make in the case of Mark Janus, or rights of freedom of association. You should not be forced as an American citizen to associate with a group that you don't want to associate with. And so that's what's at issue today, and the oral arguments are at 10 a.m. before the United States Supreme Court.
So the High Court's going to determine whether these agency fees are unconstitutional. How do you think the Supreme Court justices are going to vote on this? What's your prediction?
So Dan set it up pretty well, and I don't want to make a prediction, but before Justice Scalia died, it looked like there would be a 5-4 decision in favor of the principles of our case, and then when he died, Justice Gorsuch came in. So we're hopeful that the 4 justices, and we expect the 4 justices that ruled in our favor previously in the Friedrichs case, will rule that way again. And then, it's hard to read the tea leaves, but Gorsuch seems to be the type of jurist who would see things the way that we do, and we're going to make strong arguments today. Hope he sees it our way in the oral arguments and the briefs, and we're hopeful that they'll decide in our favor before the summer's out.
Just to put a fine point on it, to make this tangible for people, kind of at bar, I think it was nicely encapsulated by this Wall Street Journal editorial. Mark Janus was with Hillary whether or not he wanted to be. And it was the idea that the public sector unions went all in with Hillary Clinton, and people like Mark Janus, who maybe wanted to stay out of the race, maybe wanted to support Bernie Sanders, maybe wanted to support a Republican, they were forced to be with Hillary whether they wanted to or not. And that's the same thing, of course, that goes on for rank and file members of AFSCME or SEIU or the teachers unions here in Illinois with respect to the 98% of money that's spent by those powerful public sector unions here on Democrats.
Yeah, and our position is a real easy one, Dan and Amy. Look, if you want to be a member of a public sector union and you like the things that the public sector union's offering, God bless you. Join the union, pay the dues, be part of that. We're not opposed to the rights of people to collectively bargain. But if you don't want to be part of the union, if you don't want to be, for example, for Hillary, like you just laid out, then you should not be forced to be part of that. And what's happened in this case, and then public employees who are non-union members all across the country, is they're subsidizing the political activity and political speech of messaging and organizations that they don't want to be associated with.
Well, why don't the unions want to put themselves to that market test? I mean, if they're offering such a good product and good representation, people would voluntarily choose to join.
It's a great question, and hopefully it's the result of what happens long term if we're able to be successful. I think the reason is, Dan, because if you can get someone to pay you something for nothing, it's a lot easier than getting them to do something for something. And I think the result of this case could be beneficial for everybody. It's beneficial for workers because they have more freedom and they have the right to choose whether they want to associate with the union and how to spend that amount of money.
Yeah.
But it also will force the unions to take a look at the people they want to have as members, be better and more service-oriented, and ultimately it could help strengthen their message and internally sort of make them more competitive for those members. And that's a win-win for both the worker and ultimately for the union.
So you really think unions could survive if the Supreme Court rules in your favor?
I think definitely they'll survive because people participate voluntarily in the unions as it is, right? Mark Janus, our client, is a public sector employee who's non-union, but there are plenty who choose to join the union and want to be part of the union. And so they'll continue to go on. It'll just give everyone the right to choose whether they want to be a part of it. So unions will continue to exist, but in a different context and under a circumstance where they're going to have to be more attractive to potential membership.
Yeah, they're going to lose members and they're going to lose money. And we had a little bit of foreshadowing on this if the decision were to go Janus's way with the budget repair bill in Wisconsin, where that Governor Walker and Republicans up there pushed that essentially eliminated fair share up there. And the Wisconsin Education Association, the teachers union there, saw their membership drop by 40% virtually overnight.
Yeah, and and that's because you're giving people the right to choose, and that's the circumstance. If people have a right to choose, that's how they chose in that instance. That is perhaps how people will choose across the country if the case goes our way. But then it becomes incumbent upon the unions to provide a product or a service that's beneficial, just like everywhere else. And if people think that product or service benefits them and they think it's worth the money to pay for it, then they will. If they don't, they won't. And that'll be what the union will have to face. The unions will have to face if that's the case.
All right, that's amazing. I was in a union and it was AFTRA SAG, and I tried, Pat, to get, I said, well, I don't see what the benefit is because they would give money to Democratic politicians. And I've given them thousands of dollars. They take it automatically out of your paycheck, whatever. And they said it wasn't an option for me to opt out.
It was a closed shop. It was the same for me when I was at WLS, yeah.
Right. But, you didn't even have an option. If you guys win with this case, do you think that will help us with other unions?
Free the SAG-AFTRA members, Pat.
Yeah.
I unfortunately, Amy, we will not be able to do that. Look, it's a different argument in a different circumstance because it's a public sector union, right? Everything a public sector union does is associating with a governmental entity. So it's all political in nature. Collective bargaining for public sector union is lobbying for taxpayer dollars. In any other context, it would be called lobbying. And so there's a unique political nature of that activity when it's public sector versus private sector. So this will be, if we're able to win the case, this will make it right to work for public sector union employees all over the country. And of course, the unions make the counter argument that the non-union members, if they aren't forced to pay, are free riding off their good work of collective bargaining. The reality of it is the unions have set up these laws this way so that they're forced to bargain on behalf of all public sector employees so that they can go ahead and collect the dues and have access to those employees. So their counter argument that these folks are free riders is a little bit specious in my opinion, and I'm hopeful that the justices will see through that today.
Well, and it also highlights the distinction that isn't made often enough between public sector and private sector unions, where you have an adversarial collective bargaining process in the private sector, and oftentimes you have public sector unions that have captured management in the public sector, and it's sort of a sham negotiation.
Yeah, because they're negotiating with the very people that
they financed into office,
in charge of putting in place.
Right.
If it doesn't go their way, then there's the potential they'll go find someone out there who's going to do their bidding. In Illinois, and I've had a lot of conversations with national media, so it's great to be talking to folks in Illinois and in the Chicago area. In Illinois, everybody knows how powerful the public sector unions are in terms of representing people in the city of Chicago, or state representatives, or state senators, or even governors. And so there's an opportunity for the unions to put the politicians in that they're going to ultimately negotiate with.
Now, Governor Rauner has made his way out to D.C. to hear oral arguments today. You issued a letter last week, though, rebuking the governor, slapping his hands for his pronouncements before the Chicago Tribune editorial board and elsewhere about the Janus case, about his involvement. You note in your letter that he doesn't play any role in this case. In fact, that he had an opportunity to submit an amicus brief on behalf of Mark Janus, and he didn't do it. And so why the chastisement of the governor?
So the governor initiated the case, Dan, back in 2015, but then he was bounced out of it because he didn't have standing. He's had no role in it since that time. But in his primary election against Representative Ives, he is using this case and another case of ours as sort of main positions of his reelection campaign, and he's misrepresenting his role in the case, and he's making predictions about the case. He thinks he's made a prediction that there's a 90% chance we'll win. Well, he shouldn't be doing that because it's a mistake and it's not responsible, and he shouldn't be misrepresenting his role. The reality of it is he didn't file an amicus brief in support of the case. He's had no role with respect to the case. And frankly, he's trying to take credit for work that he didn't do in a political context. And in my opinion, that's bad form. Secondarily, this case should not be politicized. This isn't about Republican workers or Democrat workers or independent workers. This is about workers all across the country, regardless of their ideological stripe, having the constitutional rights to choose for themselves under the First Amendment. And it's not about any particular politician, and it's certainly not about Governor Rauner's reelection.
Boy, Governor Rauner misrepresenting himself or somebody else knocked me over with a feather. He is Pat Hughes, president of the Liberty Justice Center, and he'll be there in D.C. today when oral arguments are presented before the Supreme Court. Janus v. AFSCME, you're going to want to follow the outcome of that case, which will be decided this term, meaning by the end of June. Pat, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
This is the morning show more Chicago radio listeners are choosing. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Governor Rauner shouldn't be at the Supreme Court. He should be over at the White House where they're talking about school safety today. President Trump is meeting with governors, and Rauner is going to be a no-show. But first, here's your forecast today. Plenty of sunshine and warm, unseasonably warm. 53 degrees for a high, but tomorrow even warmer. Mostly sunny skies tomorrow, a high near 60 degrees. Let's get into our alarm detection systems traffic center. Here is Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Amy and Dan. Eden's inbound. Well, heavy now. Foster to Montrose. 21 minutes. Lake Cook to Junction. Outbound fine at 19. Kennedy, 27 minutes. O'Hare to downtown. Outbound 32. Delays from Montrose to the airport. It's heavy as well on westbound 190. Kennedy to the Tri-State. Expect some congestion in the terminal area, too. Got Eisenhower, 40 minutes, 390 to downtown. Outbound 31. Stevenson, 44 minutes, 355 to the drive. Ryan, 28 minutes, 95th to the loop. I-57, 17 minutes, I-80 to the merge. Bishop 420. Northbound Tri-State delays from 87th to the 83rd Street toll and from the Reagan tollway to the Eisenhower. Up to the north on the southbound side of the Tri-State at the Waukegan toll, there's a crash blocking the right cash lane. It's what Adams tollway heavy from the Tri-State to Kennedy. Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection System Traffic Center.
Are you stuck in a bad home mortgage? Well, join the club that has about 10 million other American families. But I may be able to help you. My name is Lou Bridges. I'm an attorney with the law firm of Lou Bridges & Associates. We've been helping distressed homeowners like you for over 8 years now. Give us a call. We provide free consultations. I guarantee you it will not be a sales pitch. We will give you our honest legal analysis, counsel, recommendations, and advice regarding your options.
We are experts in doing loan modifications successfully. We know the regs. We understand the process. Most importantly, we don't take no for an answer. We fight. We are prepared, and we win. We save houses. We make houses affordable. So if you want to keep your house affordable, contact us.
Go to bridgeslaw.net or call 224-513-1231. That's 224-513-1231.
Remember, people, never give up the land. Fight for truth and justice. You do that, I guarantee you'll never be alone in this country.
The following is a paid political announcement.
Governor Bruce Rauner spent 4 years betraying Republicans. Now that he wants to be re-elected, he needs help from his friends in Springfield and Chicago, like Personal PAC, a group that spent $4 million helping Mike Madigan defeat conservatives. Personal PAC is a pro-abortion group with a history of also funding Planned Parenthood, and Personal PAC recently attacked Jeannie Ives. They're attacking Jeannie Ives because Ives fought against HB 40, which forces taxpayers to pay for abortion through all 9 months of pregnancy. Jeannie Ives wasn't alone in her opposition of this horrible law. She was joined by every single Republican legislator in Springfield, but Governor Rauner lied to Illinois Republicans and Cardinal Cupich, then betrayed everyone when he signed the bill anyway. And now that you know Benedict Rauner is a traitor to Republicans, you can vote for the real Republican in the race for governor. Vote for Jeannie Ives for governor. She's the conservative reformer Illinois needs. Log on to ivesforillinois.com to learn more. Paid for by Ives for Illinois.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I'm Mark Gastineau. I played in the NFL for 10 years. I was diagnosed with CTE, with dementia, Alzheimer's, and Parkinson's. The fruits and vegetables that we take from Balance of Nature is the best thing that we could ever do. And I'm calling in now to order extra because of my wife has been taking mine because she sees a difference in me. It is a wonderful thing that Balance of Nature is doing. I hear the testimonies on the radio, but I'm a testimony for myself. And the fruits and vegetables, if I don't take them every single day, my day is not going to go the same. So God bless you, and thank you for what you've done for my wife and I.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first month's order and ship it to you free. Call 800-246-8751 or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
Hey guys, Ken here from the hit podcast Today's Growth. Who would win a 3-mile bicycle race, an 11-year-old girl or last year's winner of the Tour de France? It all depends on the bicycle. It depends on their vehicle. Both on a 10-speed and the pro racer is going to win every time. But put the racer on a tricycle and the 11-year-old wins every time. You see, it's not the driver, it's the vehicle. When it comes to generating revenue, it's exactly the same. If you have a job or a small business, you are riding a tricycle. You can only go so fast. If you need to make up lost ground, it's not going to happen on a tricycle. No matter how fast you pedal, it's simply not going to win the race. Why do many people with no schooling and no advanced degree often become very wealthy? Simple. They choose to only ride 10 speeds. When it comes to helping people create their next revenue model, both Forbes and Inc. recommend Income Store as a can't miss when it comes to putting people on a 10-speed. Could your household or business use an additional revenue model that doesn't solely depend on you? If so, you need to check out IncomeStore.com. That's IncomeStore.com.
Looking to refinance your home? Then you need to call Team Hochberg. Sally's heard hundreds of Team Hochberg's ads, so naturally she called the nation's largest online lender, obsessed with their Rocket, because she saw their ad pumping gas. Bad move. The Rocket-loving lender quoted Sally a rate higher than us, and closing costs $6,000 more than Team Hochberg's. We explained the exorbitant closing costs and refinanced Sally into a lower rate and credited all of her closing costs. Team Hochberg doesn't have have a rocket, but we have lower rates and substantially lower closing costs than the nation's largest online rocket-loving lender. You could call the nation's largest online lender who spends millions promoting their rocket by charging excessive closing costs, or you could call Team Hochberg at 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. Team Hochberg has helped thousands of AM560 listeners, but we can't help if you don't call 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. Pearl Mortgage and Equal Housing Lender, Illinois Residential Mortgage Licensee 4358 and MLS 19186.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy and CPAC got a little rowdy last week. Mona Charen, the longtime nationally syndicated conservative columnist, she was moderating a panel discussion that turned to morality in the party. Is there a bit of hypocrisy within conservative ranks when it comes to issues of sexual harassment and
she went on a little bit of a rant.
Fidelity. Here's what Mona Charen had to say, making her panelists very uncomfortable as the boo birds came out.
I'm disappointed in people on our side for being hypocrites about sexual harassers and abusers of women who are in our party, who are sitting in the White House, who brag about their extramarital affairs, who brag about mistreating women. And because he happens to have an R after his name, we look the other way, we don't complain. This is a party that was ready to endorse, the Republican Party endorsed Roy Moore for the Senate in the state of Alabama, even though he was a credibly accused child molester. You cannot claim that you stand for women and put up with that.
Does Mona Charen have a point about hypocrisy? It's it's not a standard. It's just our guys versus their guys, and we cover for our guys like they cover for their guys. That's what we should do because that's what they do. Essentially, is the argument that's made. Frankly, more often than I'd like to hear it. 312-642-5600 turnkey.pro answer line. 64636DA turnkey.pro text line.
Well, a character doesn't matter anymore. I mean, we have a president who allegedly, and according to her and some other people who paid off the girl, had an affair with a porn star right after his wife Melania gave birth. And it doesn't matter. Like before, infidelity was such a big deal that you could not make it to the office of the presidency if you had an affair.
No,
I don't think. But now
if the public knew you had an affair,
right?
Yeah, there's a
now
difference.
We have the Playmate of the Year, who's kind of a step up from the porn star, and it doesn't matter. It's not even making the news. It's not even making the B or D segment of a newscast.
You raise a fair point, as does Mona Charen, and she wasn't done. There was another thing we didn't get to last week because of all the obviously the Parkland stuff, but. Marion Lepen speaking at CPAC, that's problematic, and Mona Charen wasn't afraid to call that out as problematic.
There was quite an interesting person. Quite an interesting person who was on this stage the other day. Her name is Marion Lepen. Now, why was she here? She's a young, no longer in office politician from France. I think the only reason she was here is because she's named Le Pen. And the Le Pen name is a disgrace. Her grandfather is a racist and a Nazi. She claims that she stands for him. And the fact that CPAC invited her is a disgrace. Well.
And then it got so bad that she actually had to have security escort her out of the building because the crowd turned on her.
She's not wrong. Mona Charen is not wrong about Grandpapa Le Pen.
No, not at all. Why did they invite her? Do we know? Do they need women? Well, I mean, what's the
real
reason?
Because as a proxy for Marine Le Pen, who was the presidential candidate, and kind of the whole kind of America first, France first, soulmates when it comes to that concept, although not exactly articulated or pursued in the same way, which there are important distinctions. But I thought, Mona Charen took some heat, but she said some things that needed to be said.
Good for her. Hey, today we'd like to thank Pat Sullivan for listening to AM 560, The Answer. Pat Sullivan, Thanks for making Chicago's Morning Answer and AM 560 part of your day. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
We'll compare and contrast the Schiff memo versus the Nunez memo at 6:36.
It was another easy read. But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
31 degrees, clear skies, and developments overnight in rebel-held areas of Syria, where they're showing symptoms this morning of chlorine gas exposure. Several people reported smelling that chlorine after explosions in one of the last rebel-held strongholds near Damascus. Director, filmmaker, and comic book nerd Kevin Smith recovering in the hospital this morning after a massive heart attack. Smith, the man behind Clerks and Dogma and Comic Book Men, had the heart attack after performing at a show in Glendale, California. 47-year-old actually tweeting from the hospital that if he hadn't canceled his second show last night, his words, he'd be dead. President Trump expected to talk about the deadly mass shooting at a Florida high school when he meets with the nation's governors later today. The Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High Senior thinks changes need to be put in place.
Personally, I do not believe that arming teachers is a solution here. I know many people, Marco Rubio, Rick Scott, they've also said that they do not believe that arming teachers is a solution here.
Speaking on Fox News Sunday, Delaney Tarr believes improving school safety is a good place to start. And so does Arkansas Governor Asa Hutchinson, who believes there must be flexibility when discussing arming teachers in the classroom.
Teachers should teach and others should protect. They've got the training and they've got the temperament and they want to be able to have a protection and be armed. I think that's a prerogative that they should have as well.
Speaking on CBS's Face the Nation, Arkansas Governor Asa Hutchinson. 5 are dead after violent weather unleashed tornadoes and flooding across the Ohio River Valley and the South over the weekend. People who admire, and they are in the millions, the late evangelist Billy Graham now may pay their respects to the man known as America's pastor. Visitation is scheduled today at the Graham Library in Charlotte, North Carolina. Here in Chicago, one man in serious but stable condition after being shot by Chicago police in the Back of the Yards neighborhood. Wind gusts of up to 50 miles an hour down power lines in several states that hug Lake Michigan, Indiana, and Michigan in particular, but also ComEd reported some power outages here in the Chicago area. City of Chicago and major airlines are close to reaching an $8.5 billion deal. It will expand O'Hare. Mayor Emanuel could introduce the groundbreaking agreement at Wednesday's City Council meeting. Big Ten hoops, the Fighting Illini in the regular season with a win over Rutgers. Up next, the Big Ten tournament, which for some reason is at Madison Square Garden in New York City. Northwestern finished the regular season with a 77-70 loss at Iowa. They go into the Big Ten tournament losers of 6 straight. Over in the Missouri Valley, Loyola beat Illinois State 68-61 for win number 25 on the year. The news, a service of Accountemps. When you could use help closing your books and need additional staff, it's time to call Accountemps. They can provide you with bookkeepers and other accounting and finance professionals on a temporary or project basis, and fast. Call today. Accountemps, a Robert Half company. 6:34, we'll have a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager reacts to the Florida school shooting.
My first thought is the parents of those kids. My prayer specifically that they get strength and that they eventually, that they can smile again and laugh again without guilt, because otherwise the murderer has murdered more than one in your family. They murdered you too, even though you're still alive.
The Dennis Prager Show, weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
Cold or flu? Fever is flu's trademark. The Exergen temporal scanner is the #1 thermometer pediatricians recommend. Protect your family with technology backed by over 70 clinical studies. Exergen.com.
Message and data rates may apply. Here's something I bet you didn't know about prescription drugs. You could be paying a lot less for your family's medications, up to 80% less, even less than your Medicare or insurance copay. How? With GoodRx. See, GoodRx compares prices of every FDA-approved drug at pharmacies in your area and offers free downloadable coupons, so you get the best deals on all your medications. You'd be surprised to see just how much the prices can differ. In fact, Last year alone, GoodRx saved Americans over $2 billion on their medications. Imagine paying even less than your insurance copay. Plus, GoodRx can sometimes find your medications for free. There are never any fees, and no personal information is ever required. Stop paying too much for your prescriptions and save up to 80% instantly by texting the word GoodRx to 99,000 for automated text messages from GoodRx. Or go to goodrx.com. Text GoodRx to 99,000. Save today. Text GOODRX to 99000.
In business, you need smart storage solutions. For over 50 years, Bradford Systems has been the company Chicago turns to, specializing in commercial storage, filing systems, document management solutions, casework, and locker systems. Whether it's working with you to incorporate better storage elements into a historic building, creating a completely new workspace for your business, or even digitizing paper documents, Bradford Systems is there every step of the process. Their experienced digital solutions team will support your enterprise content management and business process outsourcing initiatives. Bradford Systems guarantees you'll have the exact storage solution you need, within budget and completed on time. Learn more at bradfordsystems.com or call 800-580-9151. That's 800-580-9151. Bradford Systems is a proud supporter of AM 560 and Food for the Poor. Let Bradford Systems show you and your business smart storage solutions. Call now for a free consultation. 800-580-9151.
6:37, and let's check the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center with Jim.
Mike, we're seeing delays on the north end of the Tri-State Tollway coming southbound from 173 at Rosecrans to the Waukegan Toll. There's a crash blocking the right hash lane there. Farther south, it's heavy from Balmoral to the Irving Park Toll with some airport traffic in the mix. Northbound Tri-State delays farther south from 87th to the Mile Long Bridge and from the Reagan Tollway to North Ave. The other tollways look good right now. Eden's Expressway inbound. Delays start around 2E. Travel time is 27 minutes, Lake Hook to Montrose, outbound 20. Kennedy, 34 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound 48, 16 minutes to get to Montrose. Heavy on westbound 190 with O'Hare traffic. The Eisenhower, 46 minutes, 390 to downtown, outbound 33. Stevenson, an hour and 2 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, 40 minutes from the Tri-State. It's a crash at Cass on the left shoulder. The Rhine is 28 minutes, 95th to downtown. Mission 4, 25 minutes, 8094 to the Merge. Traffic Service of Account Temps. When you could use help closing your books and need additional staff, it's time to call Account Temps. They can provide you with bookkeepers and other accounting and finance professionals on a temporary or project basis fast. Call today. Account Temps, Robert Half Company. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. Not as cool today. Plenty of sun, high 53, clear and 38 overnight. Currently, 32 at O'Hare. Next news at 7. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Watch today's show live right now on the Income Store live video stream at 560theanswer.com.
If you're talking about it, I'll be talking about it. Dennis Prager here. Join me this morning at 11, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. And so the House Intelligence Committee released the revised in terms of redaction, Schiff memo in response to the Nunes memo that discusses, from the Democrats' perspective, the FISA warrant that was obtained to surveil believed Trump associates as part of a Russian collusion investigation. Everything was on the up and up, and the Nunes memo was a misrepresentation of the good work done by the FBI and investigators in this case. Well,
a lot of things redacted. That's all I have to say.
That's what Schiff and his companion said, though the response from Nunes and the White House was something quite different. Here's Devin Nunes, House Intel Committee Chairman at CPAC, discussing this.
Clear evidence that the Democrats are not only trying to cover this up, but they're also colluding with parts of the government to help cover this up. And I think as you read it, you will see personal attacks on myself, personal attacks on Chairman Gowdy, with a lot of lot of really interesting things that sound really bad, like a lot that has been happening with this Russia investigation over the course of the last year. But what you're not going to see is anything that actually rejects what was in our memo. And what was the point of our memo? The point of our memo was for one purpose only, and that was to show that FISA abuse had occurred. And to have a secret court that gets abused like this is totally unacceptable, and it falls on the job of the legislative branch who created all of this to provide oversight to make sure when we see problems that we let the American people know and all of our congressional colleagues know.
If you haven't read it, the Schiff memo is a real good beach read.
Yeah, it's an easy read, Dan.
Yeah.
I thought of you when I was reading it, thinking, gosh, I hope Dan reads this
I had
10-page
Sure, a glass of Bordeaux and read the Schiff memo. It's a nice way to spend a Sunday evening. And then did a little compare-contrast with the Nunez memo. But before I opine, Raj Shah, Deputy White House Press Secretary, opined on the matter. 2 key points in the Nunez memo that the Schiff memo fails to refute. Shaw does a good job of laying those out.
Well, the Democratic memo was designed to basically undercut the Republican memo, the Nunez memo, and it basically failed to do that. The Nunez memo raised it raised a lot of important points, but the 2 most important were that this FISA warrant would not have been sought had it not been for this Democratic dossier that was funded by the Clinton campaign. The Schiff memo doesn't undercut that. It just, this was based on testimony by the FBI Deputy Director Andrew McCabe. It doesn't even address that fact. Separately, the Nunez memo said that the funding sources for this dossier were not disclosed to the judge. The Democratic memo, again, it cites the FISA application itself, and it says that there was somebody who funded it that was designed to discredit the president, but it did not state that it was from the DNC and from the Clinton campaign. So on these 2 very major points about being transparent with the judge and the degree to which they utilized this dossier, this phony dossier, they were not really able to rebut the points made in the Nunez memo.
Yeah, the Wall Street Journal, along with our friends Andy McCarthy and Byron York, all take up those 2 points. The Wall Street Journal opining over the weekend, the 10-page Democrat memo begins by declaring that the FBI and DOJ officials did not abuse the FISA process, omit material information, or subvert this vital tool to spy on the Trump campaign. Yet the facts it lays out show the opposite. As Shaw said, the Democrat memo makes no attempt to rebut the widely reported news that former FBI Deputy Director Andy McCabe told Congress the FBI would not have sought a surveillance warrant without the dossier. That's important since so much of the dossier is unsubstantiated, in addition to the sourcing of it. The Democrat memo, the Journal continues, also confirms the FBI withheld from the court the partisan provenance of the dossier. Democrats even provide for the first time in public the precise language the FBI used in its initial application. Listen to this. Democrats told the FBI that the FISA court, the FBI told the FISA court that, quote, a law firm hired an identified U.S. person to conduct research regarding candidate one's ties to Russia. The identified U.S. person then hired source one to do the research. The footnote ends, the FBI speculates that the identified U.S. person was likely looking for information that could be used to discredit candidate one's campaign. As the Journal comments, speculates, likely, could. The dossier was paid for by actors whose overriding purpose was to defeat Trump. Nowhere do Democrats say the FBI used the words political or partisan or campaign, much less Clinton or DNC. So, yeah, they soft-pedaled the political nature of this and the actors who were behind it all, and they knew both. So that is being less than forthright with the FISA court, which, much as they are trying to rebut the Nunez memo, the Democrats effectively conceded in their memo.
I mean, don't you think this is all just a sideshow? I mean, it was redactions galore, and I felt like it was the life and times of Carter Page, where they talk, he lived in Moscow from 2004 to 2007 and pursued business deals with Russian-owned energy companies. I mean, it seemed nothing. And President Trump called into Fox News.
And by the way, a couple of things that about Carter Page and particular meetings that Carter Page has rejected, just as he has said he has never in his life, pre-campaign, during the campaign, post-campaign, spoken with Trump.
He doesn't know President. I mean, they don't
That's
know
what
each
he
other.
said. That's what he said.
I believe him. And President Trump, well, here's his reaction to the easy read.
See, the memo was a nothing. That's a very bad document for their side.
That was.
Basically, Trump suggests what former prosecutors like Andy McCarthy suggest, that basically confirms the terrible things that were done. And that's what Trump tweeted. The Democrat memo in response to government surveillance abuses is a total political and legal bust. Just confirms all of the terrible things that were done. And then, of course, in Trumpian fashion, so illegal in all caps with an exclamation point.
So illegal. Oh, my God. He reverts back to his inner high school girl's voice. What?
Well, no, I mean, and so the beat goes on with the dueling memos and the collusion accusations of treason that from the left and from Trump detractors that are based on no certifiable evidence. It's the most remarkable thing. And, getting a plea deal from Rick Gates, Paul Manafort's business partner, as Mueller has been able to obtain. And,
he's growing a beard like you. Did you notice that?
Who is?
Rick Gates.
Oh.
You guys looked an awful lot alike when he, pled out on Friday.
All of us Russian colluders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I'm trying to get.
You guys have the same beard, I noticed.
I'm trying to get some.
What are you opposing?
I'm trying to get some business from Ukraine.
That's what you're doing.
But and Mueller's coming over the top with more indictments of Manafort and Gates, and then the plea deal with Gates. Okay, see where it goes. I've said from the beginning, go wherever the facts lead. Get to the truth of the matter with respect to all of these various actors. By the way, including those various actors on the other side of the political aisle, and including those various actors in positions of authority in law enforcement and intelligence agencies. I'd like a reckoning across the board, if that's okay with everybody else. But as it pertains to Trump, the more the Democrats triple down on their unhinged, fact-free rhetoric, the more it benefits the president.
It's what Chicago is talking about. It's Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy on AM 560. The Answer.
Coming up next, how arming yourself helped in one situation in Oklahoma. But first, here's your forecast. Plenty of sunshine today. You can see the sun is rising. It's spectacular. A high of 53 degrees. Tonight, clear, a low of 38. And for Tuesday, it's going to be a warm one. A high near 60 degrees with partly sunny skies. Now let's get into the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Where are the hot spots? Here's Jim Telemonte.
Southbound Tri-State, Amy, at the north end, it's heavy from 173 to the Waukegan Toll. There's a crash in the right cache lane. Farther south, a little slow approaching the Irving Park Toll. Northbound Tri-State delays are 87th to the Bylong Bridge, Reagan, Tillman to North Avenue. Eden's 27 minutes, Lake Cook to Junction. Kennedy, 40 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. The Ike is an hour, 390 to the Circle. Got a stall at Harlem on the right side. Stevenson, hour and 2 minutes, 355 to the Drive. Crash at Cass on the left shoulder. Jim Talamonte, the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
I'm Lou Dobbs. Treasury Secretary Mnuchin set to implement North Korean sanctions. The SBA administrator says small business optimism is at an all-time high. Those stories next.
You like freedom? I do. You like money? Well, I do too. You like freedom and money, and you're going to love freedom checks. You see, over the next few months, an estimated $34.6 billion is up for grabs to anyone who stakes their claim. Yep, you heard that right, $34.6 billion. To get all the details, just go to www.myfreedomchecks.com. Thousands of people are already lined up to cash in. Take Doug, for example. He's a 46-year-old from Joplin, Missouri, who's set to get a check for $24,075. And if Doug can do this, I've got a hunch that you can too. But here's the thing. If you want the chance to grab your full fair share of this $34.6 billion payout, you must have your ducks in a row by March 1st. So don't wait. Get over to www.myfreedomchecks.com before the March 1st deadline. That's www.myfreedomchecks.com.
Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin begins implementation of sanctions against North Korea today. That will affect more than 50 shipping companies and trade businesses. President Trump calls these the heaviest sanctions ever imposed on any single country, with the objective of halting North Korea's nuclear program. Linda McMahon, the administrator of the Small Business Administration, says small businesses are enjoying unprecedented growth because of President Trump's tax reform. McMahon says cutting taxes has returned more money to business owners who are reinvesting it now in new equipment and creating more jobs. General Mills going to the dogs, buying Blue Buffalo, paying $8 billion. Blue Buffalo makes all natural food for dogs and cats. Please join me for Lou Dobbs tonight, 7 and 11 Eastern on the Fox Business Network. This is the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I was always just sort of feeling tired. And so I said, maybe this will just help in overall vitality. But in the past couple of years that I've been taking it, I find my energy has been great. I've been sleeping better. I don't get the cravings for junk food as often as I used to. I really attribute it to the product. It's so easy to use. Even if I want to take a capsule for my daughter and I just pull it apart to mix it in some juice or something, it's just something I'm very grateful to be able to incorporate. I really love the product. I think it's made such a difference.
Generally feel better, generally have better energy and more stamina. Breathing is easier, walking is easier. You're not in pain anymore, all right? I could go on and on.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first month's order and ship it to you free. Call 800-246-8751 or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
On AM 560 The Answer, we talk about the important issues that affect your world. Things like the economy, education, and foreign policy. There's always so much going on in the news that we don't always have the time to focus in and talk about the big ideas behind the important issues. Enter Upstream Ideas online at upstream-ideas.com. Upstream Ideas, in partnership with the Illinois Opportunity Project, provides the kind of information that informs the policy discussions happening here on AM 560. At Upstream Ideas, you'll broaden the debate, move beyond partisan assumptions, and challenge accepted beliefs. Upstream Ideas goes against the current and thinks upstream. Go online now at upstream-ideas.com. That's upstream-ideas.com. You'll be armed with new information and fresh perspectives to help encourage you to make the state of Illinois and the United States of America a bit freer, a bit more just, and a bit more civilized. Upstream-ideas.com.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I had this crazy thing happen with my eyesight. I went back to get my contact lenses done, and my optometrist, and I'm 46, he said, "This is really weird, but your eyesight is better." I'm like, I can't believe it, but I think it's these vitamins I'm taking.
I'm a huge believer in the product. I've tried lots of stuff, and this is the only real thing that I've ever, because of all these comparisons with all the other stuff I've had, this is by far the best thing, and consistently.
We're so healthy now on the Balance of Nature. There's no words to say how well it works.
Feeling good on it, really. I'm feeling my skin is softer, and I feel good.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first month's order and ship it to you free. Call 800-246-8751 or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
Picture your son in 10 years. What kind of man do you hope to see? I know you want your son to be a man of character. It's Dan Proft, and I urge you to consider Northridge Prep, ranked the #1 best all-boys school in Illinois for 2 years running, and a top 100 high school in America from U.S. News. Don't miss their open house on March 25th. Northridge Prep is an independent Catholic school for boys in grades 6 through 12 located in Niles. There's no brainwashing that's prevalent elsewhere. They instill the traditional values that you hold as parents. Northridge Prep is all boys with an all-male faculty. They celebrate your son's natural enthusiasm and energy. It's a good place to be a boy. Every teacher is a great role model who gets to the hearts of their students. Their demanding liberal arts curriculum produces well-rounded men with the ability to think for themselves. Grads go on to the best universities, including the Ivy League, and have top athletics and arts programs. I strongly encourage you to attend Northridge Prep's open house on March 25th. To learn more, visit northridgeprep.org. That's northridgeprep.org.
The following is a paid political announcement.
Here illegally, Manuel Orrego Zavala was deported twice and had multiple convictions and arrests. Drunk, he hit and killed Jeffrey Monroe and Colts linebacker Edwin Jackson. It was a senseless tragedy, and it never should have happened. Politicians in Washington have ignored this issue for far too long. We must build the wall, ban sanctuary cities, and put an end to chain migration. There are lives at stake.
Businessman and conservative outsider Mike Braun is the right choice for voters concerned about illegal immigration. Braun understands that we can't have a country without borders, and in the United States Senate, he'll help President Trump pass his agenda. Too often, dangerous criminals here illegally cause tragic deaths. President Trump can change things, and we can help by electing conservative businessman Mike Braun to the U.S. Senate.
I'm Mike Braun, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Mike Braun for Indiana.
You want to go to Italy, but not on a pre-packaged tour. You want something more real. You want to do what you love in Italy, to gather with friends, your beloved family, a big table, in your own private villa in Tuscany. It's easier than you think. DoWhatYouLoveInItaly.com is a small company with 8 villas to choose from, all in the most beautiful and culturally interesting countryside of Tuscany. For the cost of a hotel, you can rent a private, centuries-old villa with pool, gardens, and classic Tuscan views. Grandparents, kids, and grandchildren, groups of friends, your family, together in one of our gorgeous Italian villas in the heart of Tuscany. They are called Do What You Love in Italy because they help you to do what you love in Italy. See the 8 villas waiting for you at DoWhatYouLoveInItaly.com. Do what you love in Italy.com.
The following is a paid political announcement.
Governor Bruce Rauner spent 4 years betraying Republicans. Now that he wants to be re-elected, he needs help from his friends in Springfield and Chicago, like Personal PAC, a group that spent $4 million helping Mike Madigan defeat conservatives. Personal PAC is a pro-abortion group with a history of also funding Planned Parenthood, and Personal PAC recently attacked Jeannie Ives. They're attacking Jeannie Ives because Ives fought against HB 40, which forces taxpayers to pay for abortion through all 9 months of pregnancy. Jeannie Ives wasn't alone in her opposition of this horrible law. She was joined by every single Republican legislator in Springfield, but Governor Rauner lied to Illinois Republicans and Cardinal Cupich, then betrayed everyone when he signed the bill anyway. And now that you know Benedict Rauner is a traitor to Republicans, you can vote for the real Republican in the race for governor. Vote for Jeannie Ives for governor. She's the conservative reformer Illinois needs. Log on to ivesforillinois.com to learn more. Paid for by Ives for Illinois.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, and here's a case for you from a Louisiana high school that speaks to both the hysteria of zero tolerance as well as the poor quality of math instruction in K-12 schools in this country. A high school kid was investigated. Police searched his home for weapons because classmates said he made vague threats and drew something that looked like a gun.
Can I see the drawing, please?
Wait for it. Oberlin High School, the investigation centered around a student who was completing a math problem.
Oh, my goodness.
Another student made a comment that the symbol he drew in his math exam looked like a gun. Several other students made similar comments. The student in question made a comment which was taken out of context and could sound like a threat, said the detectives. And the symbol that he made on his math exam that could look like a gun.
That's the square root symbol.
Yeah. Square root.
Okay.
Square root.
Everybody just.
And that led to the police searching his home for weapons.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, is it fair to blame the NRA considering all the missteps by law enforcement? And Trump wants teachers to arm themselves. But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
Sunrise in Chicago. A man shot by Chicago police in the back of the Yards neighborhood. Investigation is underway. WIND Chicago News Time, 7 o'clock.
He's not giving in. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
Of course I won't resign.
Broward County Sheriff Scott Israel amid calls for him to step down over the Parkland, Florida school shooting including deputies not going in to stop it. He tells CNN.
We're looking into this aggressively, and we'll take care of it, and justice will be served.
But students who survived the attack, like Kyle Kushoff, do blame Israel for the department's handling of numerous tips that the shooter, Nicholas Cruz, was dangerous.
He's responsible for this massive failure. This could have been easily stopped, both by the FBI and the Sheriff's Department, had they acted.
The NRA also blames authorities and the shooter. Spokeswoman Dana Lash tells ABC.
This is not the fault, nor are 5 million innocent law-abiding Americans culpable for this.
In the last few days, nearly 24 companies have cut ties to the NRA, no longer offering discounts to members. Students returned to Parkland, Florida's high school yesterday to retrieve stuff they left behind fleeing the shooting. Classes will resume Wednesday. The Stoneman Douglas boys hockey team won the state championship yesterday. Kids are not getting up and ready for school in West Virginia. A statewide teacher strike as classes canceled a third day. The Democratic rebuttal now public, countering the Republican memo alleging FBI bias using the anti-Trump dossier to spy on an ex-campaign aide. Fox's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
Dave, the rebuttal memo from Democrats says the FBI acted appropriately when it obtained a warrant to spy on former Trump campaign advisor Carter Page. Adam Schiff, ranking Democrat on the House Intelligence Committee, on CNN's State of the Union.
They're not part of some deep state, as the president apparently would like the public to believe.
President Trump called the 10-page memo a nothing on Fox News.
That was nothing but a confirmation, and a lot of bad things happened on the other side.
The rebuttal memo also says the Justice Department made narrow use of the Steele dossier in the FISA court application. Dave.
Rachel, stormy weather over the weekend, blamed for 5 deaths, 1 in a tornado, 3 in flooding that's affected several states, including Kentucky, Ohio, and Michigan. Fox News, fair and balanced.
7:02, sunny skies. Good morning, I'm Mike Scott. On AM 560, The Answer, bond is set this morning at $10,000 for a man accused of attacking a pregnant CTA conductor on a Red Line train over the weekend. Saman Griffiths has been charged with aggravated battery to a transit employee. This morning, 2 Mundelein High School students are accused of making threats against the school on social media. Police say Juan Bello and another teen were arrested yesterday after posting a threat on Snapchat over the weekend. The post shows a photo of a hand holding a gun. Both students indicated that they never meant harm at anyone at the school, but there will be extra precautions on campus this morning. One man in serious but stable condition shot by Chicago police in the back of the Yards neighborhood after the victim ran off after a traffic stop. That incident remains under investigation. Rules could soon be changing for public sector unions across the country. U.S. Supreme Court will hear arguments in an Illinois case today, Janus versus AFSCME, that challenges Illinois rules that force state workers to join a union. City of Chicago and major airlines are close to reaching an $8.5 billion deal to expand O'Hare. It includes plans for a state-of-the-art global terminal, dozens of new gates, and Mayor Emanuel could introduce that agreement at Wednesday's City Council meeting. An investigation continues after the son of former Chicago Public Schools CEO Paul Vallis died over the weekend in Los Angeles. Multiple news outlets report Mark Vallis passed away Saturday night. The cause has not yet been released. Chicago sports. Fighting Illini in the Big Ten basketball season with a win over Rutgers. Up next, the Big Ten tournament. Same story for Northwestern. The Big Ten tournament is next. But the Cats finished the regular season with a loss at Iowa. In the Missouri Valley, Loyola wins number 25 on the year, beating Illinois State 68-61. The Valley tournament begins Thursday with the first round. The news, a service of Walgreens. Looking to save money on your Medicare Part D prescriptions as a preferred pharmacy, Walgreens offers copays as low as $0 on Tier 1 generics on select plans. Switch your prescriptions and start saving today. Walgreens, trusted since 1901. 7:04, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Sean Hannity wants to see energy independence.
I have, and if you've listened any length of time on this program, I have been pushing and pushing energy independence. Now, because of the president's energy policies, America today is on the verge of achieving global energy dominance. That's going to go a long way to keeping Americans safe and prosperous for decades and decades to come.
The Sean Hannity Show. Afternoons at 2, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560. The Answer.
Make sure to check out the Income Store live video stream of today's show right now at 560theanswer.com.
When you're hiring, you don't want to sort through dozens of irrelevant resumes. You want a short list of qualified candidates. That's why you need Indeed.com. Diana's hired with Indeed.
It just gives me so many more qualified applicants to choose from.
Post a job in minutes. Set up screener questions. Then zero in on qualified candidates using an intuitive online dashboard. Discover why 3 million businesses use Indeed for hiring. Post a job today at Indeed.com/hire. Search for greatness. Search Indeed.
If your to-do list is long, but you're short on time, get the amazing Tackle app. For house cleaning, yard work, hanging TVs, washing windows, or hauling off junk, Tackle can save the day. The concept is simple. Tackle connects you with background check providers who can help with simple chores. The Tackle app has hundreds of pre-priced chores. If you have a unique chore, there's a cool custom job feature. Download the Tackle app today and get $50 off your first job. That's TAKL. Get your to-do list done with Tackle.
7:06. Let's get an update on the roads. In the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center, here is Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. I-90 westbound, Jane Addams Tollway at Roselle Road got SUV on fire on the shoulder. It's causing an eastbound Gapers delay from Barrington Road just past Roselle. Tri-State southbound heavy 173 to the Waukegan Toll with a crash in the right cash lane. Farther south, slow Balmoral to the Irving Park Toll. Northbound delays, 95th to the Mile Long Bridge, Ogden to 31st, and from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. Northbound Veterans Memorial now heavy, 75th to the Reagan Tollway. Eden's is 26 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose. Southbound 23, Kennedy, 49 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. 27 from Montrose, 24 in the Express. Outbound 18 minutes to Montrose, 51 to the airport. Von Eisenhower, 56 minutes, 390 to downtown. 42 from Mannheim. Outbound 36 to 390. Stevenson, an hour and 14 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Got a crash at Cass on the left shoulder. It's 35 minutes from the Tri-State to the drive. Outbound 36 minutes to 355. Ryan, 30 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57 Bishop Ford, both 22 minutes, I-80 to the merge. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte at AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast with meteorologist Kevin Schneider.
Breezy with sunshine today, high 53, clear night low 38, then partly sunny and breezy tomorrow. Wind gusts to around 30 miles per hour. High tomorrow 59, mainly cloudy night low 44. Wednesday clouds and sun, high 54. I'm Kevin Schneider on AM 560, The Answer.
32 and sunshine at O'Hare. Next news, 7:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the Lou Bridges Show. Get foreclosure defense solutions that may save your home. Saturday mornings at 8 on AM 560, The Answer.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. President Trump speaking at CPAC yesterday Friday, that is, for more than an hour. And it was some of the issues that he referenced with respect to Parkland and school safety were repeated later in the day when he held a joint press conference with the Australian Prime Minister. He talked about schools, a couple of ideas that he has, categories of ideas that we've talked about, so it should come as no surprise, but we want to hear from the president. One of the things is to make the schools safer.
It's time to make our schools a much harder target for attackers. We don't want them in our schools.
And one of the ways to do that is concealed carry for some teachers.
You do a concealed carry permit. And this would be a major deterrent because these people are inherently cowards. If they thought, like if this guy thought that other people would be shooting bullets back at him, he wouldn't have gone to that school. he wouldn't have gone there.
Now, Trump went on, before we get to his additional remark about the percentage of teachers. Jim Garrity over at National Review reminds us of an important point with respect to Sandy Hook. The shooter in Sandy Hook went to the elementary school. The high school in Newtown stands between the shooter's home and Sandy Hook Elementary. To get from his home, where he first killed his mother, to the elementary school, he would have had to either drive past the high school or take a longer alternate route. One of Jim Garrity's readers, why did he drive by Newtown High School? I ask myself that question. I tell myself it's futile to try and get inside the head of someone who is insane, but then I think others try when they come up with various responses to school shootings. And I also think this: there was a guard at Newtown High School, and anyone who attended the school knew it. A potential attacker may think about the possibility of being met by such a guard. Isn't it possible, even likely, that the thought enters the mind of someone about to carry out such an attack? It is an interesting point. What Trump said is exactly right. Predators are cowards. They prey on the weak. They're looking for the weak.
And one of the reasons why he suggested teachers instead of having more armed security guards, because he said teachers care more.
A security guard doesn't know the children, doesn't love the children. The teachers love their children. They love their pupils. They love their students.
The security guards I know. Well, come on. I mean, he's talking about one security guard who was a coward and didn't go in to help the students. And we don't know why still that he did that. Maybe he didn't have enough power. Maybe he was just scared. Who knows? But the security guards that I know love their students just as much as the teachers do. And but the issue is, do you want teachers to have the added responsibility of also being a security guard? 312-642-5600 is our turnkey.pro answer line.
Well, Trump described what he meant in some more detail with arming teachers.
CNN went on. They said, Donald Trump wants all teachers. Okay? Fake news, folks. Fake news. Fake news. I don't want a person that's never handled a gun, that wouldn't know what a gun looks like, to be armed. But out of your teaching population, you have 10%, 20% of very gun-adept people. Military people, law enforcement people, they teach.
So what about this idea of allowing for the arming of those who want to be armed locally? And this is going to be, I would suggest, and I would suspect, K through 12 education is primarily a state and local issue, not a federal issue. It's not funded at the federal level, marginally. It's funded at the state and local level. School districts, school boards, and administrative staff, along with teachers, and often in a collective bargaining arrangement, are going to make these determinations. So, kind of forgetting all the process stuff for a second, just the question is it a good idea to allow for communities and school districts and all of the adults and stakeholders to have this option, to pursue this option of a percentage of teachers who want to be armed, to provide a deterrent effect, ostensibly, to be armed? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line.
Well, one governor that has come forward, the Florida governor, Rick Scott, said not in his state.
We will require all individuals purchasing firearms to be 21 or older. I want to make it virtually impossible for anyone who has mental issues to use a gun.
Well, and he also said he does not believe that teachers should be armed.
And so I got an email over the weekend from a retired police chief who raised a number of issues with respect to arming teachers as opposed to having off-duty cops and otherwise trained security personnel. And there's some legitimate points that would have to be traversed. I mean, there's always the liability issue. But there's liability issue no matter what you do.
Exactly.
In this world
even doing nothing.
Right. In this world of kind of trial lawyer, particularly in this state where you have judicial hellholes in places like Cook County and Metro East, and you have trial lawyers as stakeholders and drivers of the legislative process because of the money they pour into the coffers of people like Mike Madigan and Democrats. So no matter what you do, you're going to have legal exposure. So instead of worrying about and trying to forestall legal exposure as your first order priority, the first order priority should be what makes the most sense to achieving the objective of enhancing school safety. So answer that question rather than trying to plot out and marginalize every possible contingency, everything that could go wrong. Things are going to go wrong no matter what you do. So let's do what we think is the best thing for children in these schools.
When you look at Parkland, Florida, I mean, the average home is $600,000. That's the average. So that is a very wealthy neighborhood. Why can't they pay, like have a bake sale or a car wash, to have private security come and take, instead of having teachers do it?
A bake sale or a car wash. I mean, honestly,
to raise thousands of, they could raise thousands of dollars. They're rich. The families will pay for. They will donate money to hire a private security firm to protect the kids.
The idea that K through 12 education doesn't have the money for the security is preposterous.
Okay, the money's there. Well, this morning the security guards are carrying AR-15s at the Parkland High School.
Okay. On the money side, the issue is school districts have to prioritize spend.
Okay.
What have we talked about on this show? In the last 20 years in Illinois, school spending has gone up by 120%. Enrollment has gone up by 6%. So
that's a bit of a problem.
And performance is static. So this isn't a we don't have the money issue, okay? Don't, again, give me one of those preposterous arguments. Let's focus on what is the highest, best use of our scarce resources on school safety first and foremost, because that's your first order priority, and then we can get down to some of the other ancillary issues. Mark in Wisconsin. I said Mark in Mundelein, excuse me.
Morning, Dan and Amy. Love the show. Listen to you guys every morning on the drive through to work. I grew up in rural Wisconsin, Racine County, western Racine County, and live in Illinois now, obviously. But I had a myriad of teachers that were wrestling coaches, football coaches, that also doubled, obviously, as teachers in social studies or whatever class they had. But those guys would take off yearly to go deer hunting, and those would be the type of teachers, I think, that are adept at being a select few that could handle, being a air marshal type teacher in a school environment where it's not necessarily known, but they're those guys. The other thing I wanted to kind of touch on was my 6-year-old goes to an elementary school here in Lake County. They have a dual buzzer entry system. I get buzzed in. I have to sign in, show an ID, I get a name tag, and I get buzzed in through a second set of doors. This elementary school had to have been built in the early 70s, and for some reason, this district has found the resources to add that system to essentially a non-modern podunk elementary school. I'm not sure why this isn't standard for every school in the country.
Thanks, Mark. Appreciate that. Tom on the southwest side.
Yeah, this utopian no guns, no armed teachers. I told your screener, it's like it's tale of teachers. My father was a Korean vet and was a policeman and kept going to college. He was on the Chicago police pistol team as well. He retired and became a teacher. At the time, he would have been the perfect person. Now, my extreme left-wing sister thinks no one will, if we just say no more guns, no one will ever have a gun, and it'll never happen again.
Right.
It's a shooting gallery right now. They only go to places where they believe there won't be resistance.
Thanks, Tom. Appreciate it. I mean, it's one of the things I make the point in my commentary this week. We call the shooter a monster. We call the deputy sheriff who didn't go into the school when the shooting was occurring, even though he was armed. We call him a coward. The very way we talk about this, implies we hold good guys and bad guys responsible for their conduct, regardless of the instrumentality they use in their conduct or lack thereof. We know it's the individual that's responsible, but people want to feel good about themselves, and so they want to wave a wand and make it, and in their mind say it's never going to happen again because we passed a law. I did something rather than the smart thing. Mike in Park Ridge.
Hi, Dan and Amy. I've called in before with a hypothesis that our two-party system is broken, and this perfectly illustrates how impotent our system is. The value of arming a handful of teachers in a school is not necessarily the defense capability. It's the ability to put a sticker on the window that says, rather than this is a gun-free zone, that we are armed and we will defend our students.
Yeah.
On the other side,
Yeah.
there's no need, in my opinion, I know, Dan, you disagree, there's no need to have 30 rounds of high lethality in a civilian's hands. And this fantasy that it's for taking on the U.S. government is just a fantasy. So we should do both, but our system is going to do neither.
Thanks for the call, Mike. Yeah, it's the second part of your argument is very much like Larry O'Donnell's argument over the weekend, which is not a good one.
Oh, that was...
Larry O'Donnell, MSNBC. A bullet fired from an AR-15 travels 3 times faster than one from a handgun. Okay.
Yeah, he's a little off.
So that means that if two shooters are 100 feet apart, you've got about 5/100ths of a second longer from a bullet from a handgun as opposed to an AR-15. Are we that 5/100 second? We can dodge bullets from handguns? What are we, Marvel comic superheroes? What the hell is he talking about? It's the same thing. It's the same thing. What we need. Oh, you shouldn't be able to squeeze off this many rounds in 6 minutes. Let me tell you something. I can squeeze off that many rounds with my Smith & Wesson 45 in that period of time. It's not addressing a problem. That's feel good. Need. Wrong question. It's not about need. Joe in Villa Park.
Hey, 2 quick points. If you have the scenario of a shooter inside a third-grade classroom, and that teacher is going to say, I would rather not have a gun and protect those kids, either that teacher is lying or should not be a teacher in the position of protecting those kids. The other thing is, if you want to find the money for this stuff, I think those kids and the families should have a multi-billion-dollar lawsuit against that school for not following policies and keeping them safe. And every parent, I'm doing this, every single parent needs to look at their school and write down different scenarios that a shooter might be able to get in that school and send it to the superintendent and demand action.
All right, thanks for the call, Joe. Glenn in Michigan.
Yes. I heard that there was more than one security guard that didn't go in.
Yeah, there's reportedly up to 4. Yeah.
According to CNN.
Right. And then I also heard that this David Hogg is actually not.
He's a student there. That was fake news. He is a student at that school.
Well, what were you going to say, Glenn?
He's say that he's a crisis actor, right?
Oh, okay.
Right. And I with all this fake news going around, you never know what to believe.
Thanks for the call, Glenn. Well, by the way, he's not the only student speaking out, and neither is Colton Hobb talking about CNN being scripted. Ariana Klein was on with Laura Ingraham last week, and she said this about what all these dogged journalists in search of the truth have been doing down in Parkland.
Well, I think the whole point of the town hall meeting was to hear the kids and hear what we had to say. And for that to happen is inexcusable. Our voices need to be heard, and he should have been able to ask any question he had to ask. But instead, we have these networks that don't want us to give our real opinions, and they want us to further their own agendas.
You've made the switch, and it feels so good. You've switched to Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Jimmy John's, freaky fast, freaky fresh.
I'm calling because I saw one of your delivery persons today, and he was totally naked.
Ma'am, I sincerely want to apologize for any...
Buck naked right there on the street.
Ma'am, we're doing all we can to...
And I say it's about darn time.
I know, and I'm gonna... Wait, what?
The human body is a beautiful thing, don't you agree?
Well,
We've suffered the tyranny of clothing for way too long.
Okay, but...
So thanks, Jimmy John's, for going all natural.
Actually, ma'am, it's our meats that are all natural.
Say what now?
Our meats are all natural. Wood smoked ham, choice roast beef, real fresh turkey breast, all natural and freaky fresh.
So I don't suppose I can expect all natural delivery in the future?
No.
Darn.
People make your business work. But how do you find the right talent? ZipRecruiter. One click posts your job to over 100 top job boards. Then, smart matching technology instantly alerts quality candidates about your job. No wonder 80% of employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site in just one day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
To try ZipRecruiter for free, just go to ZipRecruiter.com/talkradio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/talkradio.
In business, you need smart storage solutions. For over 50 years, Bradford Systems has been the company Chicago turns to, specializing in commercial storage, filing systems, document management solutions, casework, and locker systems. Whether it's working with you to incorporate better storage elements into a historic building, creating a completely new workspace for your business, or even digitizing paper documents, Bradford Systems is there every step of the process. Their experienced digital solutions team will support your enterprise content management and business process outsourcing initiatives. Bradford Systems guarantees you'll have the exact storage solution you need, within budget and completed on time. Learn more at bradfordsystems.com or call 800-580-9151. That's 800-580-9151. Bradford Systems is a proud supporter of AM 560 and Food for the Poor. Let Bradford Systems show you and your business smart storage solutions. Call now for a free consultation. 800-580-9151.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I was surprised at myself how much energy I had, and I'm doing 2 jobs, running around like a maniac, and I was able to handle it. Really, I'm like, wow, this stuff is really good. So, more than anything else, it just gave me the extra energy and the well-being, feeling of well-being that I don't think I would have without it.
Well, I take it every day, and I feel great. And my wife looks at me and says, how come you never get sick? And I do. It's because I take the fruits and veggies.
I just feel a lot better. My life is turning around. Everything is working for me.
It just helps me feel good. I just think the products are wonderful, and I take them every day. I just like it. It works.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first month's order and ship it to you free. Call 800-246-8751 or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
If you own a business, you'll do everything you can to keep the lights on. The thing is, keeping those lights on can be much more cost-effective than you ever imagined. And Twin Supplies can help. Twin Supplies specializes in helping businesses, public entities, and nonprofits get energy efficient with their lighting and take advantage of incentives from utility companies to help with energy improvement costs. From restaurants to schools, churches, and stadiums, they'll walk you through every step to realize maximum money savings and energy efficiency. Your maintenance staff will spend less time changing bulbs with worry-free fixtures that feature up to a 10-year warranty. Plus, the quality of your lighting will improve, resulting in improved working conditions and safety. Find out how much your commercial business can save with a free energy audit from Twin Supplies. Utility companies change their incentives frequently and funds can run out. Now is the time to take action. Don't wait. Call 630-590-5138 or log on to twinsupplies.net and take charge of your business's energy efficiency. Twinsupplies.net.
Message and data rates may apply.
Here's something I bet you didn't know about prescription drugs. You could be paying a lot less for your family's medications, up to 80% less, even less than your Medicare or insurance copay. How? With GoodRx. See, GoodRx compares prices of every FDA-approved drug at pharmacies in your area and offers free downloadable coupons, so you get the best deals on all your medications. You'd be surprised to see just how much the prices can differ. In fact, last year alone, GoodRx saved Americans over $2 billion on their medications. Imagine paying even less than your insurance copay. Plus, GoodRx can sometimes find your medications for free. There are never any fees, and no personal information is ever required. Stop paying too much for your prescriptions and save up to 80% instantly by texting the word GoodRx to 99,000 for automated text messages from GoodRx. Or go to GoodRx.com. Text GoodRx to 99,000. Save today. Text GOODRX to 99000.
AM 560, The Answer.
Howard and Skokie, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yes, they used to say a good guy with a gun can counter this. What about a good guy with a gun and a dog? And another point, I think they should modify the ammunition where a dog can smell it out. And the last thing I want to say about this, I think the NRA should sponsor the training for the teachers and the dogs. And I think get involved a little bit more, trying to solve this problem instead of always defending themselves.
All right, thanks for the call, Howard. They do some proactive programs, but Amy, Bunky looking for some extra work on the side?
You know what I was thinking? That more be down the line of Hayek. Hayek's a little more rambunctious,
True.
a little more willing, I think, to help.
A little bit more courageous, like his old man.
Exactly. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
We'll talk shift memo and more on Parkland with Matt Continetti, the editor of the Washington Free Beacon and contributing editor to the Weekly Standard at 7:37.
And later, girl power, a mother-daughter duo in Tulsa, Oklahoma, shoot an armed robber. But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
Sunshine, 32 degrees. President Trump meeting with the nation's governors today. They'll discuss the deadly shooting at a Florida high school. Students getting ready for classes at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High this week. School held an open house for parents and students yesterday. Survivors and others are gathering at Ground Zero this morning. It's a solemn tribute to victims of the first terror attack on the World Trade Center. That deadly bombing occurred 25 years ago. Today's the anniversary of that blast that killed 6 and wounded hundreds. The bomb in an underground parking garage was set off by Muslim extremists who sought to punish the U.S. for its Middle East policies. At least 5 are dead after violent storms spread tornadoes and flooding across the South and Ohio River Valley. The Naval Academy and NCIS are investigating multiple midshipmen for allegedly using the dark web to sell drugs. The ongoing investigation is looking into sales of cocaine and LSD on and off the Naval Academy campus. The public now has an opportunity to pay respects to the Reverend Billy Graham. Visitation begins today and tomorrow at the Graham Library in Charlotte. The pastor will then lie in honor at the U.S. Capitol Rotunda. The company founded by disgraced Hollywood executive Harvey Weinstein is going broke. According to the Wall Street Journal, the Weinstein Company said last night it's going to file for bankruptcy. 2 Mundelein High School teens are accused of making a threat against that school on social media. Both students indicate they never meant to harm anyone at the school, but there are extra precautions on campus today. America's labor unions are ready for the U.S. Supreme Court to hear a case critically important to them and to you in Janus versus AFSCME. The justices will decide whether employees represented by public unions must pay a so-called fair share of the fees if they don't want to be union members. Karen Strickland is with the American Federation of Teachers.
We are doing the work, and if we do it effectively, to really engage our members in what the union is all about and how important organized labor is to their well-being on the job and in their communities and for their students, then we can actually come out stronger on the other side.
The plaintiff, Mark Janus of Illinois, claims First Amendment grounds, saying he should not have to pay union fees. Chicago sports, Fighting Illini in the Big Ten regular basketball season with a win over Rutgers. Up next, the Big Ten tournament. Same story for Northwestern. Big Ten tournament next. However, they lost in their last regular season contest at Iowa, 77-70. Win number 25 on the year for your Missouri Valley Conference champion, Loyola Ramblers. They beat Illinois State 68-61. The Missouri Valley tournament begins on Thursday. The news is a service of Napa. And right now, at participating Napa Auto Parts, you'll get a $20 prepaid Visa gift card by mail when you buy a Napa Legend Premium battery. Quality parts, helpful people. That's Napa know-how. Offer expires 2/28/18.
7:34 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Looking to add your talent to a dynamic company? United States Traffic Network seeks a motivated account executive to join the sales team. Send your resume to ustrafficnetwork.com/careers.
Get ready. It's Auto Show Month. And to celebrate, you're going to see some of the best deals of the new year at Joe Cotton Ford. Joe Cotton Ford will get your engines revving with the largest selection of quality American-made Ford vehicles, including SUVs and trucks with all the features you want and need to navigate the snow and ice this Chicago winter. Ready for a different auto buying experience? At Joe Cotton Ford, you won't get the cold shoulder from a sales guy trying to hit a sales quota. What you will get is the white glove treatment without all the hype and pressure. And don't forget, every vehicle purchased comes with the Joe Cotton Advantage that goes above and beyond what the manufacturer offers. It'll help you save on maintenance, vehicle protection, and more. Be sure to ask about the Joe Cotton Advantage program when you come in. Get to Joe Cotton Ford and celebrate Auto Show Month with a new Ford car, truck, or SUV today. Gary and North Avenue in Carroll Stream or at joecottonford.com. joecottonford.com.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Bob Ament, a founding partner of the law firm of Dassman & Ament and longtime personal customer of Signature Bank. Our firm recently left one of the larger banks to bank with Signature Bank, and it's been a refreshing change. With Signature Bank, we've been able to tailor banking solutions that fit the specific needs of our firm. Beyond that, Signature Bank is responsive, efficient, and timely in meeting those needs. If I have a request, I pick up the phone and talk to Mick O'Rourke, not someone at a phone bank thousands of miles away. Dassman & Ament needed more than what the larger banks offer, and we found that with Signature Bank.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
7:36 and a check of the roads. In the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center, here's Jim.
Thanks, Mike. Kennedy inbound. It's heavy. Canfield to the Burn Circle, an hour and 2 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, 32 minutes from Montrose, 31 on the Express. Outbound, 22 minutes to Montrose, 50 to the airport. Edens, 23 minutes. Lake Cook Junction, outbound 30. The Eisenhower crash at southbound 53 at Irving Park. Some delays coming off 390 there. Then delays kick in again at St. Charles. It's an hour and 10 minutes from 390 to downtown. And it is 52 minutes from Manheim. Outbound at 390, it's 47 minutes. Northbound I-55, Jan 53 to Cass, crash on the left side. An hour and 10 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, 35 minutes from the Tri-State. Outbound 40 minutes to 355. Ryan 34 minutes, 95th to downtown. Southbound Lakeshore Drive is heavy, Foster to North Avenue, northbound from the Stevenson to Jackson. Southbound Tri-State delays 120 to 137, Balmoral, the O'Hare Oasis. Northbound Harlem to the Hinsdale Oasis, from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. But Adams Tollway, still 59 to Roselle. Reagan Tollway, Eola to 59 and 53 to 355. Veterans Memorial stop and go. I-55 to the Reagan Tollway and Army Trail to 290. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. Not as cool today, plenty of sun, high 53. Currently, we have 33 and sunshine. Next news at 8, Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Don't forget that you can watch Chicago's Morning Answer on the Income Store live video stream every morning at 560theanswer.com.
Only the biggest stories, only the biggest guests, and only the biggest opinions. This is AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, so President Trump at CPAC spent a lot of time talking about school security, of course, but that wasn't the only topic. He also mentioned DACA. We're a week away, approximately, from his
that's right.
self-imposed deadline.
Yeah.
And so he talked about sanctuary cities, and he talked about DACA.
Very, very important that we have offensive capability as well as defensive capability.
No, that's on school shootings. So let's try to get him on.
DACA.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
The Senate Democrats and the House Democrats have totally abandoned DACA. They don't even talk to me about it. They have totally abandoned. You know, we get the reputation like DACA, it's not Republican. Well, let me tell you, it is Republican, because we want to do something about DACA, get it solved after all these years. The Democrats are being totally unresponsive. They don't want to do anything about DACA, I'm telling you, and it's very possible that DACA won't happen, and it's not because of the Republicans, it's because of the Democrats, and frankly, you better elect more Republicans, folks, or it'll never happen.
All right, elect more Republicans to get DACA done. There's
easier said than done.
A little bit of jujitsu on the behalf of the president. Also, this is not going to help his case, except that he makes it very specifically. Any DACA deal supporters, specifically separating out the good individuals who are going to be productive and independent and the individuals who are going to be problems. Like, for example, this 21-year-old student in the Rochester, New York City School District who was arrested yesterday after making a credible threat against the school and the students there, posting on Facebook, "I'm coming tomorrow morning and I'm going to shoot all of you bitches."
Okay, we say biatches, but all right.
No, we don't. Abigail Hernandez is her name, and she's a DACA student. So you know, like in the American population generally, some people are dreamers and some people are less than that.
Yes.
For more on this topic, as well as Parkland and the Schiff memo, we're pleased to be joined again by our friend Matthew Cottonetti, who's the editor of the Washington Free Beacon and contributing editor to the Weekly Standard. Matthew, thanks for joining us again. Appreciate it.
Good morning. Glad to be here.
So the Trump's pronouncement on DACA at CPAC, that boy, a lot of acronyms being thrown around, that Democrats aren't even talking to him anymore about this. There's no deal in the offing. Is that your sense of it on the Hill?
It is my sense of it, and it's for one main reason, which is Chuck Schumer thinks that having the Dreamer population kind of in limbo will help the Democrats' chances to take back the Congress in November. I actually think that's kind of a dicey proposition. I think a lot of Washington just truly does not understand the real politics of immigration, which is that Trump has been winning on the immigration issue. He got the Democrats to collapse when they attempted to shut down the government. He led Nancy Pelosi kind of into her reverie, where she did that 8-hour speech that really signified absolutely nothing. Yes. But he has changed public opinion. I think if you look at some of the Harris polls, for example, some Harvard polls, you'll see that public opinion now is not only for a deal with the Dreamers, for sure, but also supports the wall, also wants changes to legal migration that Trump is pushing for. So why Chuck Schumer wants this issue out there in November, I don't know. I think it's very good for the Democratic base. Maybe that's why. But really, I think it's an issue that helps Trump right now.
So do the Democrats have any solid plan that they've presented? Because I know with the Republican...
On anything?
No, with Dreamer in regards to immigration.
Yeah. Well, they have a variety of plans. We had that vote-a-rama in the Senate a couple weeks ago. And one thing that I thought was interesting was you had some of the potential 2020 candidates on the D side in the Senate, people like Liz Warren and Bernie Sanders, actually vote for a kind of moderate proposal, basically a proposal that gave amnesty to the Dreamer population while also funding some of Trump's wall. On the other hand, Kamala Harris of California voted against it, saying that she would never vote for anything that had wall funding. So you begin to see how the immigration issue really divides the Democrats, perhaps even more than it divides Republicans. This is a very combustible issue. It divides both parties. But when you look at the Democrats and how far they have gone toward the kind of basically open borders side, you begin to wonder whether it might not come back to haunt them in November and again in 2020.
I want to turn to the Schiff response to the Nunez memo and the reactions from, the White House, but also from respected commentators and journalists like Byron York and Andy McCarthy, that, the Schiff memo really didn't get the job done. What it did was fail to rebut and in part arguably confirm that they wouldn't have got the warrant without the dossier, and that the dossier was, and the nature of the dossier and who was behind the dossier was kind of soft pedal to the FISA court. It was purposely less than transparent. That doesn't seem to help the Democrats' case. It would appear on the face of it.
Yeah, I agree. I'm a little bit puzzled about this memo. Of course, they released it, in the week over the weekend, not in the middle of a big news cycle or anything. It's heavily redacted, which I think was part of Schiff's strategy. I think he wanted to get into a fight where Trump kind of redacted it, and then he could say that Trump wasn't being transparent. But he seems to have lost that. The real takeaway I think the Democrats want people to get is that the investigation into Trump ties to Russia began prior to the Steele dossier coming to the Justice Department. But that's something we all knew.
Right.
We've known about the George Papadopoulos' drunken conversation in the bar with the Australian for a while now, since basically the last December. So there's not much new in this memo to me, and the parts that are familiar, as you say, actually kind of confirm some of what Chairman Nunes has been saying. So an odd play by the Democrats, but one they probably had to do.
I want to move over to Parkland, Florida. NRA taking a lot of heat. A number of corporations have severed ties with them. Hertz, there's a number of airlines, insurance companies. Do you think it's fair to blame the NRA considering all the missteps by law enforcement in Florida?
No, I don't think it's fair to blame the NRA at all. And in fact, I'm a little bit disturbed at the speed at which these corporations are severing ties to this very large organization, almost all of whose members are law-abiding, and really is an organization that has influence not because of the money. Everyone's talking about the money they have in politics. That's not why the NRA has influence. It's because they have voters. And no less than the New York Times actually put this on their front page this weekend, saying to New York Times readers, good liberals all, well, look, it's not just the money. It's the NRA. There's actually great public support for Second Amendment rights in this country. So for these large corporations just to bow to basically mob pressure is disturbing to me. And even more disturbing is to see the press kind of cheer it on, right? I mean, the press has been warning us about a crisis in democracy because of Donald Trump's election for now over a year. And yet, when we see the reaction to the Parkland shooting, kind of the demands for immediate action, with no deliberation, kind of these pressure campaigns to just blame the NRA when we know that basically anyone who could have failed in the run-up to this tragedy did fail. I think the media needs to take a look in the mirror about what it means when they use the word democracy.
Well, and the other thing, too, is if they want to continue to pursue that narrative against the NRA and against President Trump, then they better stop having Sheriff Scott Israel show up and talk to Jake Tapper, because that's directing all of the attention away from everything else other than that dude.
I mean, Sheriff Israel is not acquitting himself rather well. It's funny, when the CNN had that kind of sensational town hall the other week, yes, Dana Lash, the NRA spokeswoman, raised this question of kind of incompetence towards Sheriff Israel, and people viewing at the time said, he really didn't respond very well to her. And now we know why. Because every day since that town hall, he knew. He knew exactly what's going on. And
he knew before the town hall started that his deputy, his armed guard on campus, ran to the building but never went in and just sat there like a coward.
Right. And when he also probably knew about all the calls about this shooter that went to the sheriff's office. I mean, it's just what makes this story so awful is that it could have been prevented at so many different times. And I will say, though, Trump has done something very interesting, which typical Republicans tend to shy away from guns, the gun issue, after a shooting like this. Trump has actually kind of run into the issue. He kind of went into the wave, and he's done a few interesting things. One is he's kind of got the Republicans to support not only securing schools, and not only trying to fix the background check system, but also embracing this idea, say, to raise the age for purchase of long guns. So Trump here is actually using the bully pulpit in a surprising way, and also a different way than you'd expect from a typical Republican president.
He is Matthew Continetti. He's the editor of the Washington Free Beacon, and he's also contributing editor to the Weekly Standard. Matthew, thanks for joining us again. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Hear about the big stories of the day, then talk about them right here on Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Coming up next, why being armed sometimes is a good thing. It's a fascinating video and story. But first, here's your forecast. Gorgeous, brilliant sunshine all day today. Mild, a high of 53 degrees tonight, clear, a low of 38. And for Tuesday, we're going to have partly sunny skies and record-breaking warmth, a high near 60 degrees. Let's get into the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here is the one and only, well-rested, ready to go, Jim Telemonte.
Right on, Amy. Good morning. Good morning, Dan. Lakeville and Antioch got closures or blockages of Grimm, 173 and Grass Lake Road, all near 83 due to a stalled train. Edens is 22 minutes, Lake Cook to the junction, up on 31. Kennedy, an hour and 18 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. The jam starts at Harlem. 50 minutes from Montrose 38 in the Express, outbound 38 minutes to the airport. The Eisenhower's an hour and 10 minutes, 390 to downtown. 52 minutes from Mannheim, outbound 47 minutes, 390. Stevenson, an hour and 12 minutes, 355 to the drive. 48 minutes from the Tri-State, outbound 40 to 355. Ryan, 40 minutes, 95th to downtown. Southbound Tri-State's the 137 to the Lake Forest Oasis. Balmoral to the O'Hare Oasis. Northbound from Southwest Highway to the Hinsdale Oasis. And in pockets from the Reagan Tollway to the Adams Tollway. The other tollways have delays too. I'm Jim Talamonte, the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Upstream-ideas.com, premium content that complements what we do each morning on this show, along from interviews in our Against the Current series. This week, a roundtable with three conservative reform state legislators here in Illinois. Talk about the election a little bit, talk about the upcoming session and what's possible to improve the climate in Illinois, if anything. So you want to check that out. 60 seconds of sanity commentaries from me, 2-minute warnings from Pat Hughes at Illinois Opportunity Project. Don't forget our news series, Heart of the Matter, featuring professional women speaking collegially about the salient issues of the day and the impact on family budgets and households. And our sister site, defendhomeowners.com. Defendhomeowners.com, we've got updated home sales figures for both McHenry and Kane County that have been posted. And we'll have the rest of the region. And you can also, remember, get that free property tax report on your home. That's defendhomeowners.com for all the property tax info, upstream-ideas.com for everything else.
Selling your home, get ready with Mike McKetty. 708-945-2121. 708-945-2121.
Ready to sell your real estate? Call me, Mike McKetty, at Century 21 Affiliated. With over $1 billion in closed sales since 1999, I have a proven marketing plan that works. Clients like my straightforward, no-nonsense approach in positioning properties to sell. I offer accurate evaluations, saving you time, money, and unnecessary stress. Together, with my skilled team of associates and over 25 local Chicagoland offices, we help guide you through the process and get you sold. Call today, 708-945-2121. I look forward to earning your business and selling your home.
Selling your home, get ready with Mike McKetty. 708-945-2121. 708-945-2121.
The following is a paid political announcement.
Here illegally, Manuel Orrego Zavala was deported twice and had multiple convictions and arrests. Drunk, he hit and killed Jeffrey Monroe and Colts linebacker Edwin Jackson. It was a senseless tragedy, and it never should have happened. Politicians in Washington have ignored this issue for far too long. We must build the wall, ban sanctuary cities, and put an end to chain migration. There are lives at stake.
Businessman and conservative outsider Mike Braun is the right choice for voters concerned about illegal immigration. Braun understands that we can't have a country without borders, and in the United States Senate, he'll help President Trump pass his agenda. Too often, dangerous criminals here illegally cause tragic deaths. President Trump can change things, and we can help by electing conservative businessman Mike Braun to the U.S. Senate.
I'm Mike Braun, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Mike Braun for Indiana.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I'm Mark Gastineau. I played in the NFL for 10 years. I was diagnosed with CTE, with dementia, Alzheimer's, and Parkinson's. The fruits and vegetables that we take from Balance of Nature is the best thing that we could ever do. And I'm calling in now to order extra because of my wife has been taking mine because she sees a difference in me. It is a wonderful thing that Balance of Nature is doing. I hear the testimonies on the radio, but I'm a testimony for myself. And the fruits and vegetables, if I don't take them every single day, my day is not going to go the same. So God bless you, and thank you for what you've done for my wife and I.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first month's order and ship it to you free. Call 800-246-8751 or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
Hi, Barry Sterner, founder of your #1 home mortgage lender, Townstone Financial. I continue to get calls and emails from homeowners whose interest rates are above 4%. Please do yourself a favor. Take 1 minute. Dial 312-896-2111 or go to townstone.com and let us give you some no closing cost refinance options today. No closing costs means no hidden costs. I guarantee it, and I own the company. Remember, you don't have to restart your mortgage at 30 years or 15. We can customize the payback period. Also, if your home is worth less than what you owe, we still have the Government HARP program, which will allow you to refinance and save money. And anyone who has an FHA mortgage or one with private mortgage insurance definitely needs to call me now so we can lower your monthly mortgage payments due to the recent increase in home values. The call is free, and so is my time. So dial 312-896-2111. That's 312-896-2111. Or go to townstone.com. That's TOWNSTONE.com. Townstone Financial is an Illinois mortgage licensee, 6629 and MLS 136639, equal housing lender.
Famous conservative quotes, presented by Automated Systems.
Ronald Reagan, considered by many the founder of modern conservatism, said, "Without God, democracy will not and cannot long endure." What a perfect connection between faith and America.
I know you support companies that share your conservative values. For FDA-regulated staffing needs, Automated Systems provides top talent, from experienced quality control and quality assurance engineers to top validation and compliance experts. Depend on Automated Systems. Hiring the best is critical to success. ASI Resources are all degreed professionals with decades of experience in manufacturing, automation, and FDA compliance. That's why ASI is retained by all of Chicagoland's Fortune 500 life science companies to successful startups. For a staffing evaluation, call Laz at Automated Systems, toll-free 844-HIRE-ASI, or visit automatedsys.com.
If you have pain, I hope you listen up. Hi, it's Mike Gallagher. You don't need to live in pain. Let me repeat that. You do not have to live in pain. Chronic pain is the worst, whether it's from an accident or pain that just develops. Chicagoland, you're in luck. Dr. Ken Candido is one of the nation's most respected and successful pain doctors. He's been voted one of Chicago's best pain doctors several times. Bottom line, he's the pain doctor you need. Dr. Candido of Chicago Anesthesia and Pain Specialists will help you get off pain medication and all of the side effects. How? By finding the source of your chronic pain and fixing it.
This is Ken Candido of Chicago Anesthesia Pain Specialists. Let's make you pain-free.
Call Dr. Ken Candido and make an appointment with a cutting-edge, respected, and successful pain physician. Go to mypainchicago.com. That's mypainchicago.com. Thousands have been helped with their chronic pain, and you could be the next one. Get the phone number and all the info you need at mypainchicago.com. That's mypainchicago.com.
The following is a paid political announcement.
Governor Bruce Rauner spent 4 years betraying Republicans. Now that he wants to be re-elected, he needs help from his friends in Springfield and Chicago, like Personal PAC, a group that spent $4 million helping Mike Madigan defeat conservatives. Personal PAC is a pro-abortion group with a history of also funding Planned Parenthood, and Personal PAC recently attacked Jeannie Ives. They're attacking Jeannie Ives because Ives fought against HB 40, which forces taxpayers to pay for abortion through all 9 months of pregnancy. Jeannie Ives wasn't alone in her opposition of this horrible law. She was joined by every single Republican legislator in Springfield, but Governor Rauner lied to Illinois Republicans and Cardinal Cupich, then betrayed everyone when he signed the bill anyway. And now that you know Benedict Rauner is a traitor to Republicans, you can vote for the real Republican in the race for governor. Vote for Jeannie Ives for governor. She's the conservative reformer Illinois needs. Log on to ivesforillinois.com to learn more. Paid for by Eyes for Illinois.
AM 560, The Answer.
The greatest living American playwright is David Mamet. He's a Chicago native, and he's got a new play, Amy, about Harvey Weinstein.
Already?
Yeah, he got the idea from a Broadway producer friend of his. And
who's going to play the potted plant?
I don't think it's going to be better than Glengarry Glen Ross.
Feed me, Seymour, feed me.
Yeah.
Like Little Shop of Horrors.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe that plant.
He's also got a new novel out called Chicago.
Oh.
David Mamet. I mean, David Mamet is must-watch, must-read everything.
Yeah, I know. One time. University of Iowa. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Broward's Cowards at 8:08.
And then later, we'll get to that fighting duo, Girl Power. But first, into the newsroom we go. Here is Mike Scott.
Chicago and the airlines close to reaching a big deal on a huge O'Hare Airport expansion. Son of a former CPS CEO dies in California. Complete look at weather after Fox. WIND, Chicago News Time 8.
They're getting the school ready in Parkland, Florida. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
Honestly, I don't know if I could feel safe again in a school like that.
She was one of the students and parents who went back to the high school yesterday for reorientation, collecting backpacks and other stuff left behind when they fled the shooting.
And today, teachers are expected to come back to work to ready their classrooms and lesson plans to try to continue the school year. Classes are back in on Wednesday, though with short days.
Fox's Evan Brown. The Broward County Sheriff's rejecting calls to resign, saying this about the deputy who waited outside, didn't go in as shots were fired.
I gave him a gun. I gave him a badge. I gave him the training. If he didn't have the heart to go in, that's not my responsibility.
And Sheriff Scott Israel also tells Local 6 NBC TV those who took the calls, warning about Nicholas Cruz being dangerous, are responsible for not following up. School safety will be an issue again today at the White House, where Fox's John Decker's live.
President Trump plans to solicit input from the nation's governors during meetings today at the White House.
I think we'll make that first on our list because we have to end our country of what's happening with respect to that subject.
The president's session with the governors is the latest in which he asks for ideas for stopping gun violence at schools. The president, in an interview with Fox News over the weekend, said he supports legislation that would strengthen gun background checks and raise the minimum age to purchase a gun. Dave?
John, there's flooding in several states, and it's been deadly. A body found floating in Michigan. 2 people died in submerged cars in Kentucky. In New Richmond, Ohio, it's the worst flooding in 21 years.
We've seen neighbors helping each other. We did speak with the city administrator here who says that there had to be no water rescues, but evacuations, of course, were necessary.
Robert Guadarrama with Fox 19 TV. One person was also killed over the weekend in Kentucky when a tornado flattened a house. A man in Arkansas died when his trailer blew over. This is Fox News. Fair and balanced.
Sunshine and 33 degrees at 8:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Bond set at $10,000 for the man accused of attacking a CTA conductor on a Red Line train over the weekend. Saman Griffith has now been charged with aggravated battery to a transit employee. 2 Mundelein High School students are accused of making threats against that school on social media. Juan Bello and another teen were arrested yesterday after posting that threat on Snapchat. Both students later told police they never meant to harm anyone, but the school is taking extra precautions. No one is in custody after 2 children were wounded in a shooting on Chicago's northwest side near Cicero and North Avenues. America's labor unions are readying for a battle at the U.S. Supreme Court. The court will hear a case critically important to unions and to Mark Janus. It's Janus versus AFSCME, and the justices will decide whether employees represented by public unions must pay so-called fair share fees. Karen Strickland is with the American Federation of Teachers.
We are doing the work, and if we do it effectively, to really engage our members in what the union is all about and how important organized labor is to their well-being on the job and in their communities and for their students, then we can actually come out stronger on the other side.
Mark Janus claims First Amendment grounds in saying he shouldn't have to pay union fees. The city of Chicago and major airlines are close to reaching a $8.5 billion deal to expand O'Hare. The mayor could introduce that agreement by Wednesday's city council meeting. It remains to be seen who will be in the classrooms at the University of Illinois' main campus, as unionized graduate students said late last night they plan on walking out of classes today as part of a strike. The investigation continues after the son of former Chicago Public Schools CEO Paul Vallis died over the weekend in Los Angeles. Mark Vallis passed away Saturday night. Chicago sports. Fighting Illini in the regular Big Ten basketball season with a win over Rutgers. The Big Ten basketball tournament is also next for Northwestern, who lost at Iowa 77-70. The news, a service of Napa. This month, Valvoline Full Synthetic Motor Oil is on sale for $5.49 a quart at participating Napa Auto Parts stores. Quality parts, helpful people. That's Napa know-how. General States prices do not include applicable state and local taxes or recycling fees. 8:04, time for the AM 560 Business Beat. From the Fox Business Network, a service of Turnkey.pro, here's Jenny Casola.
From the Fox Business Network, Fiat Chrysler might stop producing diesel passenger cars by the year 2022. Sales of cars with diesel engines are slumping after the Volkswagen emissions cheating scandal. The Financial Times says the company could continue making diesel trucks. Fiat Chrysler doesn't currently sell any diesel cars in the U.S. or Canada. Instant Pot says it'll be offering information in the coming weeks for those whose cookers are overheating. It's cooperating with the Consumer Product Safety Commission. 5 batches of the cookers are on the stop using list. The new Fed Chairman Jerome Powell testifies before Congress for the first time tomorrow. He'll deliver a prepared statement to the House Financial Services Committee. The Dow was up 347 on Friday. NASDAQ added 127. The S&P up 43. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Ginny Cosola.
Larry Elder explains why the Democrats are in a tough spot.
The issue that Democrats are facing is real simple. Are you going to be the party that says, I hate Donald Trump's guts? Are you going to be the party of $15 minimum wage? Or are you going to be the party of trying to grow the economy? And that is the dilemma that the Democrats are facing. What is their message?
The Larry Elder Show. Weeknights at 7, right before Jay Sekulow at 9 on AM 560. The Answer.
Watch today's show live right now on the Income Store live video stream at 560theanswer.com.
When you're hiring, you don't want to sort through dozens of irrelevant resumes. You want a short list of qualified candidates. That's why you need Indeed.com. Post a job in minutes. Set up screener questions. Then zero in on qualified candidates using an intuitive online dashboard. Daryl has hired with Indeed.
Nothing has been this simple, this easy, and this effective.
Discover why 3 million businesses use Indeed for hiring. Post a job today at Indeed.com/hire. Search for greatness. Search Indeed.
If your to-do list is long, but you're short on time, get the amazing Tackle app. For house cleaning, yard work, hanging TVs, washing windows, or hauling off junk, Tackle can save the day. The concept is simple. Tackle connects you with background check providers who can help with simple chores. The Tackle app has hundreds of pre-priced chores. If you have a unique chore, there's a cool custom job feature. Download the Tackle app today and get $50 off your first job. That's TAKL. Get your to-do list done with Tackle.
Latoria Brothers Construction Company is a proud sponsor of AM 560 and Food for the Poor. Turn to Latoria Brothers Construction Company for all your commercial, industrial, or retail construction needs. New construction, renovations, interior remodeling, facility expansions, and tenant owner build-outs. Latoria Brothers Construction Company has you covered from start to finish. From design concept through construction completion, Latoria Brothers offers a single-source proactive approach. Their family has been providing a high level of excellence in service, reliability, and experience since 1948. Latoria Brothers. They'll modify services to accommodate your construction needs no matter what size and scope. Consulting, design, build, construction management, general contracting. Achieve your vision and dream for your facility. Save time and money. Make Latoria Brothers part of your construction team. Quality workmanship on time, on budget. Visit LatoriaConstruction.com or call 630-766-3036. Latoria Brothers. Shaking hands, not fists.
8:08, and a check of the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center with Jim.
Pike and Lakeville and Antioch, closures of Grass Lake Road, Graham, and 173 just east of 83 due to a stalled train. Eden's 22 minutes, Lake Hook to the junction up on 31. Kennedy, an hour and 18 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. Express lane saved 10 minutes, outbound 38 minutes to the airport. The Eisenhower, an hour 14, 390 to downtown, 57 minutes from Manhunt, outbound 57 to 390. Stevenson, an hour and 12 minutes. 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. How about 40 minutes? The Ryan, 40 minutes. 95th to downtown. Southbound Tri-State delays. O'Plain to 137. At 190, the O'Hara Oasis. Northbound Harlem to 31st. Reagan Toll to North Avenue. Also approaching the Dewey Toll. North on Veterans Memorial. Stop and go. I-55 to the Reagan Tollway. And the Army Trail Toll to 290. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast with meteorologist Kevin Schneider.
A full day of sunshine today, breezy with a high 53, clear night low 38. Tomorrow, partial sunshine, breezy and mild, high 59. Then a mainly cloudy and mild night, low tomorrow night 44. I'm Kevin Schneider on AM 560, The Answer.
33 and sun at O'Hare. Next news coming up at 8:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Listen to AM 560 on your mobile device. Now available on iHeartRadio. Online at iHeartRadio.com.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. We'll get to Broward's cowards and their sheriff, Scott Israel, in a moment. But
and the 911 calls that were made in reference to Nicholas Cruz.
We want to always profile good guys with guns because they don't get enough profile. The number of predators who are stopped by somebody who protects themselves. And that's a real thing that happens. That's not NRA fiction. And it happened in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Yeah, and it wasn't good guys. It was good ladies. Mother-daughter duo working at the liquor store. They've been there for years, and they do the weekend shift. And an armed robber came in. He had a rifle, held them up at gunpoint.
He had a shotgun.
Yeah, shotgun, excuse me. And he held them up at gunpoint, demanded money. They gave it to him. But then as he was leaving, they grabbed a gun of their own. They actually each had their own handguns and shot him. And the man managed to grab the mother's gun, and that's when the daughter shot him again in the back. And the mother is so grateful that her daughter saved her life.
She was all I could think about. She saved my life. You saved my life.
And they're both, they were very emotional when interviewed by the local press TV station down there in Tulsa. But they knew if they didn't have their gun, they wouldn't have made it out. And they describe how he was so aggressive and he just wouldn't stop. Even after he shot the first time, Dan, he kept coming back and charging them.
Next thing I know that I have my gun and I'm shooting him. And I get up and I shoot him again. And then he kept just coming back at me.
So these
he grabbed the mother,
yeah,
not the mother's gun.
Grabbed the mother, right.
Yes.
But she was holding her gun. And from the video, if you saw it, you guys should all see this video. It's spectacular.
I like the fact that she shot, he grabs the mother, and then the daughter, confident enough in her shot, or maybe doesn't have a particularly close relationship with her mother, one of the two, just shoots him when he's got the mother in his grip.
Yeah, and she shot him. She was a good shot. It was point-blank range, and she got him right there, and then he fell to the ground. He's in critical condition this morning, but we really don't care about him. But again, pro-Second Amendment women.
Until you have a gun waved at you and until you see, or you don't know what you're feeling or thinking, looking at my mom's face. I mean, that it happened so fast, but it seemed like it lasted for so long. I'm still here. I did do okay. My mom is still here. We're still here, and we're here to tell about it.
Alan in Rockford, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hi, guys. This is my biggest complaint about this whole thing is amateurs with guns. I'm an amateur, and it's why I won't get a concealed carry permit because I have simply no idea how I'm likely to react. It was obvious that those guys were taking pot shots, and if you watch the video, at what point the mother was directly in between the daughter and the perpetrator, and she took a shot at him. I don't know how she missed hitting her mother.
Yeah, well,
so it was so
okay.
emotionally charged, but it's important, Dan.
Well,
we got to get better training for people that are going to do this.
Well, okay, fine. Thanks for the call, Alan. Yeah, I'm all for training. I'm a concealed carry permit holder. I get trained, and I go to the range and all that stuff. No matter how much training you get, as that girl was saying, in that kind of moment, it's difficult to know exactly how you'll react, how cool and calm and collected you'll be, because it's tough to put yourself in that real life moment, isn't it? That's hardly an argument against right to carry. In point of fact, all of the dire predictions about concealed carry going back 30 years before Florida became the first state to provide it have not materialized.
The mom wasn't as good of a shot as the daughter, but the daughter, she got him right in the back. As soon as he took the mother and had grabbed her, she went right up to him and shot him.
Here's the thing.
Stopped it. That ended it right there.
Do you want to take your chances with a guy with a shotgun who's robbing you? Or do you want to take your chances with you defending yourself? You want to take your chances that, if I just comply, then I'm not going to be harmed. What about that real world situation? You think it always works out that way? Obviously it doesn't. If I'm going down defending myself or my loved ones or somebody else. I'm not going down passively. And for those who suggest that we should, that's your choice. You can die and, you can choose to live on your knees. Not me. Sean in Elmwood Park.
The level of that guy's stupidity is outrageous. Those women are heroes. Not only that, that's why you need an AR-15. It's too bad they didn't have one of those under the counter. They could have lit that son of a gun up 35 times instead of all that chaos running around. I mean, it's astonishing. Men, that's your position? Get down on your knees and hope he doesn't kill your women? It's despicable, and that's the problem. We allow cowards to represent themselves as society with virtue. It's all sickening. And as for those 4 scumbags, fat slobs in Broward County, sitting in their car hiding in a defensive position, what about the coach who had nothing but his T-shirt, and he ran out there? That's a hero. And the guy with the pension worried about his suntan, that's a scumbag coward we're paying for. Fire everybody and start over and only hire real heroes.
Thanks for the call, Sean. Well, here's the thing. I say it all the time, and it's usually in the context of standing for a particular issue, particular right. But it's C.S. Lewis's observation. Courage is the formation of every virtue at its testing point. If you don't possess courage, it is impossible to possess any other virtue you say you have, because when you are tested, you will fold. And we see that all the time. Courage, political courage, real courage in situations like Parkland or that liquor store in Tulsa or Commander Bauer running to an active shooter in the Loop. Courage. That's the whole thing.
He wasn't even on duty.
You cannot be a virtuous person if you are not a courageous person. And when you're not a courageous person, you open the door to all the other cowards, the predators, the real cowards. Think about it. Honestly. Dan in Libertyville.
Hi, for all of those who don't believe in concealed carry and think that citizens should not be armed, I ask them to remember the women in Tinley Park at the Lane Bryant, who one of them called 911 somehow during the robbery. They're all dead except for one. Mm-hmm. Think of the people at the Brown's Chicken in Palatine who got huddled into a freezer. If any one of them had a firearm, they might have had a chance. But because they didn't, nobody walked out of there alive.
Thanks, Dan. Appreciate it. Courtney in Miami.
Yeah, God bless you all. I'm down here in Miami, ex-Chicagoland, 77-year-old veteran, and that scumbag that called up talking about he need more training and he hasn't got his permit and everything, I wouldn't want him around me at 1 second. And I commend that daughter and that mother. They did that was right. Women, you need to have your permits. Men, you need to have your permits in this world today. God bless you all now.
Thanks for the call, Courtney.
Thanks, Courtney.
Now, let's be Alan in Rockford is not a scumbag. He's just talking about, being trained and being able to defend yourself.
He's worried about the ladies.
Well, and he's just worried about
marksmanship.
And he's worried about people in general that have guns and aren't trained in how to use them.
Yeah, it's like gangbangers who think it's okay because in the movies they shoot on the side like that. So stupid.
Well, okay.
Well, that's not how you properly shoot a weapon.
Well, I don't expect gangbangers to go through the 15 hours of required training for right to carry permits, though. That's
You mean
not
they
surprising.
don't follow the gun laws?
So, but the point about Alan's making a legitimate point about being a responsible gun owner, but the idea that that those women didn't act heroically at that liquor store in Tulsa, or that you wouldn't have wanted to have the ability to defend yourself the way they did if you were in a similar situation? No, I don't agree with that.
Listen to podcasts of Dan and Amy from the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Plenty of sunshine today. It's going to be a gorgeous day, a high of 53. Tonight, clear, a low of 38. And for Tuesday, we're going to have partly sunny skies, unseasonably warm, a high near 60 degrees. Let's get into the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here is Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Amy and Dan. Kennedy inbound delay started Foster now. It's an hour and 2 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, so it's lightened up a little, at least for a while. 42 minutes from Montrose, 38 in the Express. Outbound 37 at the airport. Eden's 21 minutes, like Hook to the junction. Outbound 33. The Ike, an hour and 5 minutes, 390 to downtown. 48 minutes from Manheim. Outbound 47 to 390. Stevenson, an hour and 8 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Now there's a crash at Lamont Road on the right side. Bryan is 40 minutes, 95th to downtown. Outbound 20 with crash at 63rd. Southbound Tri-State Heavy, 190 to the O'Hare Oasis. Northbound Harlem, 31st. Reagan Tollway to North Avenue and Balmoral to the Toohey Toll. But Adams Tollway slow lead to the Tri-State. Reagan Tollway from the Aurora Toll to Winfield and 53 to 355. 53 has delays on the southbound side, Higgins to Irving Park. Jim Talamonte and the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
The following is a paid political announcement.
Here illegally, Manuel Orrego Zavala was deported twice and had multiple convictions and arrests. Drunk, he hit and killed Jeffrey Monroe and Colts linebacker Edwin Jackson. It was a senseless tragedy, and it never should have happened. Politicians in Washington have ignored this issue for far too long. We must build the wall, ban sanctuary cities, and put an end to chain migration. There are lives at stake.
Businessman and conservative outsider Mike Braun is the right choice for voters concerned about illegal immigration. Braun understands that we can't have a country without borders, and in the United States Senate, he'll help President Trump pass his agenda. Too often, dangerous criminals here illegally cause tragic deaths. President Trump can change things, and we can help by electing conservative businessman Mike Braun to the U.S. Senate.
I'm Mike Braun, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Mike Braun for Indiana.
Did you know that studies have shown that we need over 10 servings of fruits and veggies every single day? If you're like me, it's hard to find the time and money to prepare and eat all of those fruits and vegetables. Who can do that? Yet we know that proper nutrition can prevent health problems, give us energy, and help us heal faster. Balance of Nature has spent over 20 years researching and delivering solutions to this problem. We can ensure that you consume over 30 different fruits and veggies every single day. Our capsules are filled with 100% real whole foods. There isn't a single thing added to Balance of Nature products. They're pure. We spent an incredible amount of time on the quality of our products. We do this for you. We do it for our own families. Give yourself a break and give your body what it needs. Call now to receive 35% off your first Balance of Nature order. Call 1-800-2468-751 or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
If you still haven't purchased the very best pillow, of course I'm talking about MyPillow, the 4-pack deal is back. So I strongly urge you to go online or call now to make sure you take advantage of this great deal. A great night's sleep is so important, so give yourself the gift of a great night's sleep by ordering a MyPillow. By using the promo code Amy, you'll get the absolute best deal available anywhere. The MyPillow 4-pack deal includes 2 premium MyPillows and 2 Go Anywhere MyPillows at 50% off. I love that I can move the fill to get the support I need, regardless if I sleep on my back or side. I never wake up with a stiff neck or headache. And MyPillow is made in America, washable and dryable, hypoallergenic, and has a 10-year warranty plus a 60-day money-back guarantee. So get your 50% off the 4-pack in February by calling 800-489-0201. Use the promo code Amy or visit MyPillow.com. That's 800-489-0201, promo code Amy.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest-growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Jerry Kerrigan, one of the owners of F.J. Kerrigan Plumbing Company, a third-generation family-run business. Our trusted longtime accountant referred us to Signature Bank, and we've never been happier. On one of our first meetings, Signature Bank CEO Mick O'Rourke said, "You worry about running the business, and we'll take care of everything else." Since that initial meeting, Signature Bank has lived up to every promise they've made. The decision-making is local, the staff is consistent, and the service is outstanding. F.J. Kerrigan Plumbing understands the value of long-term customer relationships, and we plan to be a customer of Signature Bank for a long time to come.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Are you facing foreclosure, been foreclosed upon, in a bad modification, or just stuck in a bad mortgage? Well, we may be able to help you. My name is Lou Bridges. I'm an attorney with the law firm of Lou Bridges & Associates. We've been helping distressed homeowners like you for over 8 years now. We defend foreclosure actions. We bring claims against the banks and the servicers for wrongful foreclosure and other violations of mortgage servicing regulations. And we help people negotiate modifications of their existing mortgages, often including principal reductions. Give us a call. We provide free consultations. I guarantee you it will not be a sales pitch. We will give you our honest analysis, counsel, and advice regarding your options.
Hi, this is Rayanne from Lou Bridges & Associates. I am one of the loan modification processors here, and if you are in need of any additional information in regard to a loan modification, please contact the office.
Go to bridgeslaw.net or call 224-513-1231. That's 224-513-1231.
Remember, people, never give up the land. Fight for truth and justice. You do that, and I guarantee you'll never be alone.
True story. So I urged one of my family members to call CertaPro Painters. He didn't do it, and that painting crew had to come back 3 times to fix their awful, sloppy mistakes, even paint on the floor, if you can believe it. Well, with CertaPro Painters, you get the best in the business. The attention to detail, color selection is truly unmatched. And now is the perfect time to get the interior of your home or business painted. The lower humidity provides an ideal environment for great coverage and quick drying times. They use fine quality paints with 0 or low VOCs, very little to no odor during application. Be an early bird and cross the first item off your 2018 to-do list. It's also the perfect time to spruce up your commercial property. Remember, each CertaPro Painter's business is independently owned and operated, so schedule your free estimate online at CertaPro.com or call 1-800-GO-CERTA. That's CERTA with the C. CertaPro Painters, we do painting, you do life.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy were talking about those mother-daughter that fended off an armed robber in the Tulsa liquor store. Mark in Waukesha. Hi, Mark.
Mark.
Yes, hi.
Hello.
You're on, go.
I would just like to say that usually in the stories that follow the shootings, they always jump on the police for putting too many bullets in a guy, 10 rounds, 14 rounds, whatever. That's the one thing these ladies did wrong. They didn't eliminate the threat right away. I mean, I'm put in this situation, obviously, is a high intense situation, but that's the one thing that the police train for, is to eliminate the threat. And if they could have done that earlier, there wouldn't have been a battle for the gun, maybe,
Yeah, okay. Thanks for the call, Mark. Philip on the northwest side.
Yeah, hi, Dan and Amy. 2 things. I want to know if anybody's looking into Cruz for a story other than the liberals cornering him in the hole and stopping a so-called suicide before they get a story. The other thing is, I don't think these girls acted heroically at all. If a man would have did that, he would have sat back, he would have sighed, and he would have said, I got him.
Okay, all right. Thanks, Philip. Easy. Couple other things. Governor Rick Scott has responded to the letter that was sent to him by the Speaker of the House representing 74 legislators in the Florida State Legislature calling for Scott Israel to be suspended. Scott saying he will not suspend Israel until an investigation is done. Boy, they might not want to know the results of this investigation because the more that comes out, the worse it gets. This school resource officer, Scott Peterson?
Yeah.
In February 2016, the sheriff's office received what it described as third-hand information that the shooter had planned to shoot up the school, posted a picture on Instagram of a juvenile with guns, right? The deputy determined that the shooter had knives and a BB gun, forwarded the information to a school resource officer at Stoneman Douglas High School. That was Peterson.
Yeah.
Then the Adult Protective Services got involved, attempted to talk to the high school's school resource officer.
Scott Peterson.
The school resource officer was contacted, refused to provide specific information to the investigator. This is why, in part, you could argue that Protective Services determined that the shooter was not a risk to harming himself or others because Peterson didn't disclose what he knew, ostensibly, about the shooter at the time. It just gets worse.
I mean, he knew that he was a disciplinary problem, that he was expelled, that he had 40 strikes against him, and he didn't mention it?
Here's another thing. There's a housing program. Schools in Broward County fund a program that allows these deputy sheriffs to live in mobile homes on school property rent-free.
Oh, my God. Well, that place, it's 45 acres. Stoneman Douglas.
But we're talking about Broward County, all 32 different schools. Officials reason that cops living at the schools would need 24-hour security. But a 2015 audit determined the program was a waste of money. The auditor saying, frankly, I'm embarrassed. I would shut it down immediately. This was a report in the Sun-Sentinel. The audit, according to the audit, one of the officers made the decision to sublet his on-campus mobile home to two people who weren't police officers. Most of the officers did not turn in monthly reports detailing their activities and failed to respond to 73% of security alarm triggers. But ending the program would be unfair, according to Peterson, who testified on behalf of the program saying, quote, you're talking about the livelihood of some of these people, unquote. Just gets more and more sickening as you peel back the layers down there, doesn't it?
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, forced by law to wrestle girls, a transgender boy named Mac, because all girls are named Mac, wins a state title for a second year in a row. But first, let's get into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
33 degrees. President Trump meeting with governors at the White House. They'll talk school safety today. An investigation into the response time of the deadly high school shooting in Florida continues. Florida Governor Rick Scott ordering an investigation but refusing for now to suspend Broward County Sheriff Scott Israel, but calls for Israel's ouster are mounting due to his agency's mishandling of the mass shooting at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High. This student believes more changes need to be put in place.
Personally, I do not believe that arming teachers is a solution here. I know many people, Marco Rubio, Rick Scott, they've also said that they do not believe that arming teachers is a solution here.
Delaney Tarr does believe improving school safety and improving school resource officers are the first place to start. 5 are dead after severe weather rips through the South and the Ohio River Valley. $10,000 reward being offered for information on a missing CDC employee this morning. Timothy Cunningham was last seen around 2 weeks ago. He reportedly called in sick to his job at the CDC and hasn't been seen again. Atlanta police and Cunningham's family are offering that reward. Bond this morning set at $10,000 for a man accused of attacking a pregnant CTA conductor on a Red Line train over the weekend. 2 Mundelein High School students are accused of making threats against that school on social media. Juan Bello and another team were arrested yesterday after posing that threat on Snapchat. Both students indicate they never meant to harm anyone, but the school will be taking extra precautions today. A Southern Illinois school district could be the first in the state to allow teachers to carry guns in their classrooms. Century School District 100 board members telling the Southern Illinois newspaper that they want to see if current state law will allow for teachers to bring their properly registered guns to school. Illinois' largest teachers union, the IEA, is against that proposal. Chicago sports. Fighting Illini in the Big Ten regular basketball season with a win over Rutgers. The Big Ten tournament is next. Northwestern will also have a tournament game scheduled on Thursday. They'll take on Penn State after finishing the regular season with a loss at Iowa. The news a service of Napa. This month, Valvoline Full Synthetic Motor Oil is on sale for $5.49 a quart at participating Napa Auto Parts stores. Quality parts, helpful people. That's Napa know-how. General States prices do not include applicable state and local taxes or recycling fees. 8:33. We'll have a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher wants to see credit where credit is due.
When's the last time you've heard CNN or the Washington Post or the New York Times or anybody say, you know what, pretty good idea that president has? How about instead of food stamps, he wants to develop like a blue apron kind of delivery for people who are food stamp recipients. So in other words, instead of food stamps, which is rife with abuse, instead of food stamps, let's send food to poor people.
The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
Get your truly free credit score and free credit monitoring from Credit Karma. Download the Credit Karma app today. Credit Karma. Get knowing.
Looking to secure financing on a new home or refinance your existing home? Then you need to call Team Hochberg. Supporting veterans is our passion. That's why we support Veteran Roasters, a Chicago coffee roaster that hires homeless and chronically unemployed veterans. If you'd like to help create jobs for homeless veterans, visit veteranroasters.com and purchase a 12-ounce bag of coffee roasted and ground by once homeless and unemployed veterans. The coffee's delicious, and the profits are reinvested in hiring additional homeless veterans. Use promo code Team Hochberg to save 50% off the second bag you purchase. If you're a veteran securing a VA loan and would like to work with a local lender who supports veterans, call Team Hochberg now at 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. Team Hochberg has helped thousands of AM560 listeners, but we can't help if you don't call 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. Pearl Mortgage and Equal Housing Lender, Illinois Residential Mortgage Licensee 4358 and MLS 19186.
8:35 and a check of the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim.
Thanks, Mike. On the inbound side of the Edens Expressway, it's just about a 1 or 2 minute delay now. Elston to the junction, outbound 29 minutes. Montrose to Lake Cook. Kennedy inbound jammed. Foster to Randolph, an hour and 7 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, 47 minutes from Montrose, 42 in the Express. Outbound 13 minutes to Montrose, 34 to the airport. Eisenhower, an hour and 8 minutes. 390 to downtown, 50 minutes from Mannheim. Outbound 51 to 390. Stevenson, an hour and 8 minutes. 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 40 minutes. Ryan, 40 minutes. 95th to downtown. Outbound 20. 57, 25 minutes. 90 to the merge. Bishoport 33. Southbound Lakeshore Drive, stop and go Lawrence to North Avenue, northbound from the Stevenson to Jackson. Southbound Tri-States, though, 190, the O'Hare Oasis. Northbound, 83rd Street toll to 31st. Reagan Tollway to North Avenue, and from Balmoral to the Dewey toll. Reagan Tollway, slow 53 to 355. Veterans Memorial, Boughton to the Reagan Tollway. Army Trail toll to 290. Southbound 53, slow Euclid to Kirchhoff. Woodfield Road to Irving Park. As eastbound 390 backed up to Meacham. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. Not as cool. Plenty of sunshine today. High 53, clear and 38 overnight. 59 tomorrow. 33 right now. Next news coming up at 9. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Tasty Catering. Companies serious about a successful event choose Tasty Catering. Planning begins at tastycatering.com.
When you've got questions, he always has an answer. It's Sean Hannity this afternoon at 2, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, we've got a lot of discussion about the Broward County Sheriff, but in a sheriff's office across the country in San Francisco, Vicki Hennessy announced changes to her prison's TGN policy. You know what TGN is, Amy? Yeah. Transgender, gender variant, and non-binary TGN policy for prisoners. Inmates now may now ask for a gender-specific deputy to do a visual body search. They can express a preference where they would like to be housed. They can also fill out a statement of preference form identifying their gender and how they want to be addressed in jail. Isn't that enlightened?
Oh, gosh. Too much power. Also making news this weekend. Did you watch the Texas State Girls Wrestling Championship?
I didn't catch it.
Well, we have some of it here for you because there's one student, Mac Beggs. Mac was born a boy, but now since his freshman year identifies as a female.
He looks like Matthew Modine from Vision Quest, so just set that.
He wrestles in the 110-pound division, and on Saturday, when he won the championship against a real woman, the crowd reacted. He had a huge lead, Dan. He nearly got pinned. People started booing because he's not really a she. I mean, how many girls do you know that are named Mac? Do you know any women named Mac? Hey, Mac.
I don't know any women that look like that individual because
so unfair.
They're women, and he's not.
Well, he's won the girls' state championship 2 years in a row now, and it's unbelievable to me.
Oh, no, why? Hooray. Hooray. You have to celebrate. You have to finance it. You have to celebrate. Otherwise, the outrage mob is coming for you.
What's worse is that Mac Beggs, he's received an academic scholarship from a college that would give him the opportunity to wrestle on the men's team. So now, whatever fits, whatever floats his boat.
Well, so here's the point, and this is for all you moms and dads of daughters out there who would like your daughter to play sports, just understand that in the brave new world, she's going to be competing against dudes. And you're going to marginalize women in sports. So for those who think, it's, that's that locker room issue of Palatine High School out here, that's somebody else's problem. It's never going to be visited upon me, my family, my daughter, my neighborhood, my school. Okay, sure. For more on this topic, we're pleased to be joined by Ryan T. Anderson. He is a Heritage Foundation Senior Research Fellow. He's the author of the new book, When Harry Became Sally, responding to the transgender movement. I will not have what she's having. Ryan T. Anderson, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Sure thing. Happy to be with you.
So what about the increasing frequency of instances like we've discussed, both having men in women's prisons, having men win high school girls wrestling titles? Where's this going?
Yeah, I mean, so in a simple phrase, biology isn't bigotry. And it's not bigotry to take the facts of our embodiment seriously when it comes to public policy, whether it comes to bathroom, locker rooms, showers, sports teams, competitions. I mean, the basic reality here is that boys and girls should not be competing against each other when it comes to wrestling. Girls should not be taking testosterone supplements. Girls who are taking testosterone supplements should not be wrestling other girls. Right. These are the sorts of realities about our bodily differences that make a difference when it comes to things like privacy in a locker room, or when it comes to equality on an athletic field, or on a basketball court, or on a wrestling mat. And right now we have transgender activists who are just ignoring all of these realities. And even worse is when it comes to medical treatment for children. Yes. Because there we have entirely experimental therapies being directed at children's bodies to try to transform them into the opposite sex, rather than helping children and their minds feel comfortable in their own bodies.
And then last week we had a story where a family lost custody of their child because they wouldn't let them take the hormone replacements and transition to another gender.
Yeah, we saw that out of Cincinnati with a 17-year-old girl who wants to identify and live as a boy, wants to receive testosterone therapy, and the parents thought that this is a bridge too far. We're rushing into this. Let's give it time. 80 to 95% of children that have gender dysphoria grow out of it. Let's not make any rash decisions. And ultimately, the state intervened, and then a judge terminated their custody rights and gave it to the grandparents. These are the sorts of issues that I discuss in the book, and that I want ordinary Americans to know about, because the mainstream media isn't covering these issues from a fair perspective. The mainstream media frequently is glamorizing transition. They interview people like Bruce Jenner, and then they make a cover shoot of Caitlyn Jenner. They don't tell the stories of people like Walt Heyer, who transitioned, regretted it, and then detransitioned. They don't tell the stories of Dr. Paul McHugh, the psychiatrist in chief at Johns Hopkins, who shut down their sex reassignment clinic. Those are the types of stories that I try to highlight in the book to give readers a more complete picture of what's going on.
How optimistic are you about pushing back with biology on this issue? Because the outrage mob intimidates people across the political spectrum. I mean, here in Illinois, you've got a Republican governor, Republican House minority leader who voted for trans birth certificates. You know, you are whatever sex you want to be, and you can change your birth certificate accordingly. The left is always pulling feeble Republicans to the left who don't want to be shamed or called a bigot, the word you used at the outset. And so isn't this going to be marriage redefinition redux?
I don't think so, because there's a difference here between elites and ordinary Americans. So you're right. At the elite level, the political elites on the left have drank the Kool-Aid, and they're entirely in favor of new transgender policies. But their constituents, ordinary Americans, whether they're Democrat or Republican, liberal or conservative, plumbers, electricians, nurses, waiters, waitresses, Uber drivers, they don't want their 5-year-old boy coming home from school and announcing that he's actually their 5-year-old girl. They don't want their 15-year-old girl coming home from school and saying that there's a boy in her locker room because he identifies as a girl. Whether they're in favor of high taxation or low taxation, whether they're in favor of free trade or government regulation, whether they like Obamacare or dislike Obamacare, ordinary Americans don't want either of those things to happen to their children. And that's why I think that this isn't going to play out the way that other partisan issues have played out.
You mentioned that many people regret making the transition. How many of those people have attempted suicide?
Well, so we don't know in terms of suicide statistics for people who regret it. Some people are actually happy with the transition as a cosmetic matter. It went well from the physique perspective, but they still have struggles. They still have struggles with substance abuse, with alcohol abuse, with anxiety, with depression. And then we know 41% of people who identify as transgender attempt suicide at some point in their lives. And people who have had sex reassignment surgery are 19 times more likely than the average population to die by suicide, which doesn't necessarily mean that the transition itself was the cause of the suicide. It does suggest that transitioning is not providing the wholeness and the happiness that these individuals are seeking, that we have to find something else to help them to feel comfortable in life, that the therapies directed at the body are producing horrific outcomes.
But yet you still have, we have this case I referenced at the outset, Palatine High School here, the school district in northwest suburban Cook County, where they make a special accommodation in the girls' locker room for this individual who's identifying as a girl even though he's a boy. And that's not enough, because you got to treat him exactly like you treat the girls. He needs to just be one of the girls, even if the girls are uncomfortable with that. And when it comes to bumping up against the respective privacy rights or even safety concerns, what we see is school districts and politicians folding because school districts are afraid of litigation or afraid of public pressure, and politicians, of course, are afraid of the outrage mob.
That's what's so remarkable here, is how one side is unwilling to compromise at all. The last chapter of the book just deals with the public policy stuff. The first 7 or 8 chapters deal with all the kind of underlying science, philosophy, medicine, how to properly think about the human person and the human body. And then once we've gone through all that, we get to the policy. And I say, look, it's understandable why a boy who identifies as a girl doesn't want to be forced into the boys' facilities. But isn't it also understandable why the girls don't want him in their facilities? And so can we find a compromise? Can we find a way of accommodating this individual with the creation of a single occupancy facility, or the creation of a private section of a locker room behind curtains or whatever? And the answer from the left has been no. Unless you treat this boy who identifies as a girl in the exact same way as you treat every other girl, you are a bigot, you are discriminating, you are violating human rights. And the perspective from conservatives has been, look, we don't want to make this child feel stigmatized or uncomfortable, but we also have to consider the needs and the rights and the feelings of all of the other students.
Do you think that
for whatever reason, our political leaders want to say, no, this one student gets absolute protections and accommodations, and we don't care about anyone else. It's really remarkable.
Yeah, and do you think some of this is a money grab? I mean, because they're not getting what they want, so they're suing some school districts. Could that be part of it, or is there something bigger going on?
I don't think the lawsuits at the end of the day are about money as much as they are about ideology. I think the threats of the lawsuits were more to get the schools to do the bidding of people promoting a transgender ideology. And it's important to distinguish between the activists who promote this ideology and then ordinary Americans who may identify as transgender, ordinary Americans who may have gender dysphoria. Right? They're not activists of any sort, but there are people in our country who are political activists and who are promoting this very mistaken ideology. And that's why we need to be vigilant in understanding what's going on and in knowing how to respond.
In the wake of that custody hearing in Cincinnati, you've had other instances. You know, of course, the D.C. Press Corps lionizes these families where they help their prepubescent child transition to another gender. How should we talk about those cases where the 7-year-old boy dresses up with mom's earrings, so let's make him a girl. He wants to be a girl, so let's make him a girl, and let's start with the drugs and even surgeries. Isn't that child abuse? I mean, can't we call that child abuse?
Some physicians have, including the president of the it's the American College of Pediatricians. There are two different pediatrician groups. One's the American Academy and one's the American College. And so it's the conservative group, which had to splinter off from the other group because the other group got captured by the gender ideologues. And so another group splintered off that wanted to tell the truth about these issues. And Dr. Michelle Cretella has referred to this as child abuse. I think in general, what we used to do for a child like this is recognize that for 80 to 95% of the cases, children naturally grow out of it. It's simply a stage, and if you give them the time and the space, they'll grow out of it, and they'll reconcile their thoughts and their feelings with their bodies. They'll live in accordance with the reality of their body. So don't lock it in. Don't do anything to reify, to kind of solidify their transgender identity. Just say, all right, fine. You're a boy who right now wants to wear high heels. That's fine. You'll grow out of it. Right? So how many kids go through stages like this? Now we have gender specialists saying, no, you should actually transition the child first socially, a new name, a new pronoun, a new wardrobe. Then you should block puberty in your child to prevent them from going through puberty in the, quote, wrong body, then give them cross-sex hormones. That's an entirely experimental form of medicine, and we need to press the pause button.
He is Ryan T. Anderson, Heritage Foundation Senior Research Fellow, author of the book When Harry Became Sally, responding to the transgender movement. Ryan, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
There's only one radio show in Chicago talking about today's biggest stories and telling you what they really mean. That show is this one, Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
This is Dan Proft with 60 Seconds of Sanity for Upstream-Ideas.com. Guns have no moral agency. Predators hurt and kill people. Often they use a gun. Good guys protect people. Often they use a gun. When a predator kills with a gun, he is rightly called a monster. When a good guy with a gun fails to protect people, he's rightly called a coward. The very nature of the way we discuss an atrocity like the Parkland school shooting conveys our understanding that it's bad guys and good guys who are responsible for what they do and not the instrumentality they use in their conduct. So arguing that the response to the deadly success of the shooter and the failure of the deputy sheriff is to reduce the number of good guys and their instrumentality choices does not logically follow from the accepted premise. And neither does the failure of state agencies locally and federally to exercise the power they currently possess make the case for expanding their power at the expense of our rights. No amount of emergency planning or algorithmic modeling or government power can replace the variety of human judgment calls that will be thrust upon a free people. The question then isn't what's in my holster, it's what's in my head and my heart.
A leaky roof is not good for your home or business. Need repair?
Call Crumweedy.
Call Crumweedy to fix your roof or to book your new roof now so you're ready for the storms of the new year. And get a luxury vacation for two, cruise or resort with a qualifying purchase.
Woohoo!
A great roof, siding or windows, and a vacation.
This is Mark Olson
and Greg Olson of Crumweedy,
a third-generation family business.
We're conservative just like you.
The difference is installation.
Hey, we know that. That's why we follow the manufacturer specifications, so your warranty is totally intact.
A lot of companies don't do that, and that could void your warranty.
Hate the high pressure?
Not from us.
We give you multiple options, then you choose.
A roof that lasts at a fair price.
We fix roof problems.
When your roof is needy,
call Crumweedy.
630-595-8020. 630-595-8020.
MyRoofIsNeedy.com. Hey, do it now.
Crumweedy. We fix roof problems.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
Starting Balance of Nature, I felt that the first month I felt different. It made such a difference that now I wake up, my head feels clearer, I have more energy. Very rarely does my body cramp up anymore. It's the best thing. It's just amazing. I don't know what to say. I just would not be what I am today if I didn't start Balance of Nature.
I plan on taking this the rest of my life because until I started taking your stuff, I never took as many fruits and vegetables in a day as I get through you guys. You know, I'm very, very, very satisfied.
My pain and it went away. I swear to you that that's the truth.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first month's order and ship it to you free. Call 800-246-8751 or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
Our nation is deeply divided. Gone are the days when civil discourse bridged the gap between the two sides. If we'll ever find common ground, we must get beyond the talking points. AM 560, The Answer, is bringing together two of America's sharpest political minds from opposite sides of the aisle. She ran Al Gore's presidential campaign. She served as the chair of the Democratic National Committee. She's considered one of the most influential Democrats in the country. And on Thursday, March 22nd, Donna Brazile will go head-to-head with AM 560's Dan Proft. He's one of the sharpest conservative minds in Illinois. He has years of experience as a political strategist and pundit, including his own run for governor. Beyond the talking points with Dan Proft and Donna Brazile. They'll discuss, dissect, and debate the big issues dividing our country. Tickets are on sale now at 560theanswer.com/beyond. Sponsored in part by AM Woodland Outdoor Design and by 1-800-4-BLINDS Chicago. Blinds, shades, and shutters.
It either is or it isn't. When it comes down to it, that's all that really matters when choosing a certified pre-owned Mercedes-Benz. It's either certified by Mercedes-Benz factory-trained technicians, or it isn't. It's either backed by an unlimited mileage warranty for up to 5 years, or it isn't. It's absolute confidence in 30,000 precision parts, or it isn't. The Mercedes-Benz Certified Pre-Owned Sales event now through February 28th, only at your authorized Mercedes-Benz dealer. Come in today and take advantage of 2 years of complimentary prepaid maintenance and special financing offers available through Mercedes-Benz Financial Services. There are those who settle for nothing less. For them, the choice is simple. It's either up to Mercedes-Benz standards, or it isn't. It's flawlessly maintained, or it isn't. It's either Mercedes-Benz certified pre-owned, or it isn't.
See your authorized Mercedes-Benz dealer for complete details and limitations on certified pre-owned warranties.
With so many homeowners fearful of poor service and not knowing who to trust, home remodeling is often delayed. But do you ever wonder why so many remodeling experiences go so wrong? Advanced Design Studio thinks remodeling shouldn't be so painful. Will the project stay on budget and be done on time? If you're nervous about home remodeling, you're not alone. Whether you're contemplating a new kitchen or bath, want an addition to your home, or in need of a whole house transformation, Advanced Design Studio is the company to call. They understand your fears and know how to overcome them. Backed by 25 years of producing positive remodeling experiences, Advanced Design's client service process, called Common Sense Remodeling, averts remodeling project delays, budget overruns, and produces a rewarding remodeling experience. Make this the year you overcome your fears and remodel your home, bath, or kitchen. Don't be a bad remodeling story. Use common sense and visit AdvancedDesignStudio.com for more information or call 847-836-2600.
Jeannie Ives might be Mike Madigan's favorite Republican. The Madigan machine has bankrolled Ives with thousands of dollars in shady labor union cash, turning Jeannie Ives into another Mike Madigan lackey. Listen to Ives defend Madigan.
Now we're going to call Mike Madigan a crook. Now we're going to call Mike Madigan a crook.
Instead of attacking Madigan's corrupt ways like Bruce Rauner, Jeannie Ives defends Madigan.
He's picking on Mike Madigan again. He's picking on Mike Madigan again.
Ives won't even commit to immediate repeal of the Madigan income tax hike.
You need legislator approval to repeal that, obviously, so you'd have to have them decide to do that, to repeal it, right? I can't guarantee what the legislator is going to send me in the bill.
Jeannie Ives, guaranteed to defend and defer to Mike Madigan.
I don't think that's any way to deal with the powerful Speaker of the House, Mike Madigan.
Paid for by Citizens for Rauner, Inc.
AM 560, The Answer.
Quickly, I have to correct myself. Mac was born a girl.
Right.
And is transitioning to a boy, but taking testosterone, and her competitors are not taking a banned substance.
If her competitors did that, they would be DQ'd for doping. By the way, Max still looks like Matthew Modine from Vision Quest.
We'll be back here. Well, actually, no. We are going to be on our Signature Bank business tour.
Mueller CPA in Elgin tomorrow, live broadcast with those madcap CPAs.
Oh, what to wear, what to wear. Back at 5 a.m. Now here is Mike Scott.
Chicago Airlines